You're watching WZZM 13, your ABC station.
Continuing the tradition. ABC Sports Championship Television.
Rivalries renewed. Backyard brawls reignited. Today, conference play. College football's second season heats up. The Maize and Blue have seen victory in 20 straight conference openers. Today, they begin their quest for a 41st Big Ten championship. Nebraska hasn't lost a conference opener in nearly 3 decades, but the Cyclone Seneca Wallace looks to end that streak. In the ACC, 5 times since 1995, either Georgia Tech or North Carolina has played the role of bridesmaid. This year, they want their turn at the altar. The annual Wild Run in the Pac-10 begins today, as both Stanford and Arizona State hope to be the dark horse who steals the league crown. Grudge matches settled next on ABC Sports. And from New York City at Times Square Stadium, this is the Hartford pregame show. John Saunders alongside of Perry Bowden. We talked about Seneca Wallace for Iowa State. Your dad got a good close look at him and almost lost the game to Iowa State this year.
He's almost impossible to contain. The best athlete, thrower, passer who can run the football. I talked to my father yesterday in between sobs. He said this guy is the closest he's seen to Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward with speed. Charlie Ward, of course, led them to the national championship by beating Nebraska.
I'm crying. There's a lot of rain against Louisville, so we're not sure if he was crying there. An unbelievable game between Penn State and Iowa State. Iowa, at one point, led this game by 23 points. It was 35-13 to start the fourth quarter, but Zach Mills goes to Brian Johnson, and this one is in overtime.
They've opened up their offense. We talked last week, this wide-open offense, they never would be able to come back. They've been able to play and catch up and keep going and throw the football, but they've had to do that at Penn State.
All right, you see Jones gets the first touchdown of the overtime. We'll let you know as it comes out, as Iowa has the lead, and we'll see you at halftime. Right now, let's take you out to your game.
All right, John and Terry here in Champaign, Illinois. It's Street Fest. They're going hog wild. They hope to cook some Wolverines sometime today. It's been a long time, though, since they've beaten the Wolverines at home, almost 2 decades. But a sea of orange ready to cheer on the Fighting Illini at home today.
The Hartford pregame, brought to you by The Hartford, always thinking ahead. We'll be back with the kickoff after these messages.
PCS Vision from Sprint. Now your employees can connect with the office network when they're away, right from a PCS phone. Exchange email, contacts, and calendars just like on a computer, instantly.
You mean I
couldn't have said it better myself.
Introducing PCS Vision from Sprint. See the power behind the PCS Clear Wireless Workplace.
There's a place where I get my favorite Italian sauces with all kinds of pastas, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. Sounds like Mom's house, but it's Olive Garden and their never-ending pasta bowl for $7.95. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
Now there's a better way to soothe your skin after shaving. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm has advanced moisturizers and vitamins to soothe and improve your skin. Nivea for Men. More evolved skincare.
New 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it.
It's a rivalry dating back more than a century. Great names like Papa Bear Hallis. In the 20s, the Wheaton Iceman Red Grange galloped on the playing fields of Champaign. The late 30s featured two-time All-American Tom Harmon, a Heisman winner who ran circles around the opposition at Michigan. The 60s brought a linebacker that put fear in the hearts of every offense. The 80s saw three-time All-American Anthony Carter dazzle. The 90s featured another Heisman winner, Charles Woodson, who dominated on both sides of the ball. Last year, the Illini shocked the Big Ten and won their first outright conference crown since '83. Today, the battle for the Rose Bowl begins anew. The Fighting Illini are the defending Big Ten champions. At home, they have not beaten Michigan since 1983. That's the last time they went to the Rose Bowl. Today, the quest begins for Pasadena. 14th ranked Michigan against Illinois here at Memorial Stadium in Champaign. Lloyd Carr, his team, off to a 3-1 start. Michigan has won 20 straight to open Big Ten play. You've got to go way back to the early 80s, the last time they dropped a conference opener. And the Big Ten season is already underway in its 107th season. And as John and Terry told you, a wild one going on in Happy Valley. In overtime, Iowa is leading Penn State. We'll keep you abreast of that one. Ohio State trounced Indiana. Michigan State leading Northwestern by 10. And Minnesota and Purdue have a date just a little bit later on. That leaves two left. And that's Illinois and Michigan. And that's right here today. And welcome to Champaign, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with my partner, Bob Greasy, who has been through a lot of Big Ten openers as a player and a broadcaster. And Grease, that's really what it's all about for these kids. They prepare their whole life to play a football game, but they're thinking Big Ten, and it's a whole new season starting today.
You wipe the slate clean, and if you're a kid that grows up in the Midwest like I did, and you go to a Big Ten school at Purdue like I did, this is what you dream of. In the Big Ten, they don't talk about national championships. They talk about winning the Big Ten and going to the Rose Bowl. And that's the full glass of water for them. And it all starts here today.
And even Illinois still talks about a BCS game last year, but they were disappointed. It was a Sugar Bowl. They had a great time. They lost to LSU. They would have liked to have gone to the Rose Bowl, but that was a national championship game. Now their quest begins to start a new Big Ten season. They're off to a slow start, but they got a great offense.
The defense has been struggling. The offense has been outstanding. In fact, it's like ranked 11th in the nation. And it's because of this guy right here, John Butcher, that Iowa transfer that came in making his third start today. He's ranked 10th in the nation in pass efficiency. He's got 4 wide receivers that are really big time, and he's got Ron Turner, the head coach, who is the offensive coordinator. This offense is as close to an NFL offense as you'll see in college football.
And with those great wide receivers, there's going to be some pressure on the defensive secondary. Let's go down to the third man in our team. Down on the corner is Lynn Swan.
Well, thank you very much, Brad. The cornerbacks have a special job today. For Michigan, number 3, Marlon Jackson is the man. Now, he doesn't seem back up, doesn't do doo-wop, but his job is as simple as ABC. A, attack, B, break up passes, and C, cover. Now, his counterpart for Illinois, his name is Eugene Wilson, number 28. We might call him, with our musical theme, Eugene Wilson Pickett, because he has to build a picket fence around Braylon Edwards, number 80, and if he gets a chance, he'll try and pick it off. Both of these players will try and lead their team to the top of the pop hits chart here in Champaign today.
All right, Swanee, if Aretha was here, the Illinois defense would be looking for a little R-E-S-P-E-C-T. John Glockman's got it teed up. Tim Bracken, Jeremy LeSueur back deep. And these two go at it for the 86th time. LeSueur from the goal line and slips as he crosses the 20 and slid down at about the 23-yard line. That's where Michigan's offense will go to work under the leadership of John Navarre. John Navarre, the rap on him has been he doesn't play very well on the road. There's the numbers so far for John. We saw him have an impressive performance in the season opener against Washington. He struggled at times since then. So just inside the 24-yard line, that is where Michigan goes to work. Dual backfield of Askew and Perry. And only about a yard for Chris Perry. And Sinclair made the stop defensively. Offensively, as we take a look at the Alamo starting lineup, here's the big eaters up front: Morgan, Boz, Pearson, Petrozello, and Tony Pape, who's an Illinois native. And a good one. Perry and Askew in the backfield. Jopper's having a great year at tight end. Braylon Edwards and Tyrese Butler are the wide receivers. Second down and 9. And there's big Tony Pape on the right side, about 310 pounds of him. Navarro play action, getting some pressure, zips it complete. It'll be very close to a first down as he got it out to Bellamy and might be just inches short. Defensively for Illinois, here's how they look up front. Derek Strong is their leading pass rusher. Carter, Ruffin, and Mike O'Brien round out the front four. Myers, Schumacher is one of their captains and the leading tackler, and Joe Beavis the linebackers. Swanee talked a bit about the corners. Eugene Wilson's a good one. Jackson, Jordan, and Morton round out the secondary. And Derek Strong, they're looking for him to come up with a big pass rush today against Navarre. They did get the first down by about the length of the football. So Michigan, a couple quick plays, and they move it out near their own 35-yard line. Here's a quick opening draw, and it's closed in a hurry as Perry lost a yard. Jordan and Sinclair in on the stop. We talked about John Navarre and about what he does at home and what he does away. And Grease, there's quite a big difference.
The top two, the record on the road, only 4-4 versus 11-1, and completion percentage only 47% on the road. Now, a lot of quarterbacks don't play as well on the road as they do at home, but those are
pretty glaring.
Yeah, pretty drastic changes.
Second and long, Navarre with a blitz, throws incomplete, in and out of the hands of Bellamy.
Talking with Mike Cassidy, the defensive coordinator, one of the things that he wanted to do was put some pressure on and stop the running game. We've got a lot of single coverage on the outside, a lot of opportunities for these Michigan receivers to make some plays.
You see the score. Iowa's beaten Penn State in Happy Valley in overtime, 42-35. Third down conversions on the year. Michigan is 8th in the Big Ten, 40%. Three wideouts to the near side. Navarre, here comes a delayed blitz again over the middle, incomplete. And Illinois' defense does its job.
Pressure defense, safety blitz right up the gut.
Gilstrap's the guy that might have tipped the ball a little bit. So it's a punting situation for Adam Finley. And that's Eugene Wilson, the all-time punt return leader in Illinois record books. Very quiet young man, one of the captains of this team. Oh, they almost blocked it, but Finley hung a high one. And Wilson, fair catch, taken, and that'll be a halo violation.
Yeah, that wasn't even close. The
Williams
ball
was trying to get out of the way.
He was, but he didn't realize the receiver had to come up. It was a shorter kick, and he had to come up, closing the gap between he and Williams.
Again, you come running down 30 miles an hour, trying to put the brakes on. He almost slid right under him.
Exactly. You're a gunner. You're trying to get away from the guy that's blocking you.
On the kickers, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
And so that gives Illinois a pretty good field position to work with its own 38-yard line. John Butcher, the guy that Bob talked about, and the last 2 weeks he's been nothing short of phenomenal. 901 yards already in the season, 9 touchdowns, second in the Big Ten and 10th in the country in pass efficiency. So he'll bring his troops up to the 38-yard line on the opening possession. Here's a toss. Davis, and he might have gotten a yard. That's about it. The Alamo starting lineups for the Fighting Illini. Here's how they look. Philbin and Deal, Preston, Babcock, and Tony Pashos, who's about 340 right now.
Hurry up offense for the Illini.
Harris, Davis, McClellan. You see the wide receivers in Young and Lloyd, and a quick throw and a first down across midfield.
And what that hurry up offense is doing is not allowing Michigan to get the substitutions in there that they want in the ball game.
And you know what? Speaking of hurry-up offenses, San Jose State did this to Illinois last week and caught them off guard defensively a few times and picked up some huge first downs. So they're returning the favor right now on their Big Ten counterparts from Ann Arbor. First down, Illinois in Michigan territory.
Michigan only has 10 players on the field.
And running right by everybody's Kerry Davis.
Michigan had a misalignment. They're trying to get the people on the field, and they only had 10 players that time.
Flag down from the secondary. So the officials will have a little committee meeting here in the opening 3 minutes of the game. It's not illegal to only have 10 guys, so that's not the call.
Yeah.
If that's the way you want to play it. Jim Lapatina is our referee. Penalty is against the Wolverines. And the options being talked over with Walter Young, the offensive captain, number 18, one of the starting wide receivers. And one of the biggest targets in the Big Ten at 6'5". Here's the call.
Illegal substitution on the defense. The player went off the field and came back on after the snap. But the penalty is going to be declined. Second down.
See what that was doing. The confusing part is Illini have their players out there. Michigan was trying to match up and then didn't get their substitutions in correctly.
They had about 10 and a half out there is what they had.
They said, no, get off the field. No, go back on the field. No, get off the field. It happens.
Lloyd Carr has not been happy about penalties and fumbles in the last couple of weeks. So now it's a second down and 2. Butcher. Quick drop and a quick throw, and got it complete out to Young, the guy I just talked about. The wide receiver, his first catch of the day, and it's a first down. Michigan defensively, they didn't give you their lineup yet. Their front four has been altered due to injury considerably. Dan Rumashek actually going to switch to the other side where Shante Orr used to play. Bowman is in today. Lazarus and Stevens. Bowman
is in for Hoyer.
In for Hoyer, who's injured. And on first down. Down to about the 27-yard line. Linebacking core for Michigan. Hobson's the best they've got. He leads the team in tackles with Kaufman and Diggs. And the secondary, Swanee talked about one of the fine ones in the country, Marlon Jackson Drake, June, Zia Combs, who's starting for the second straight week at cornerback. Here comes a blitz from the secondary. Butcher got a man and he overshot it. Greg Lewis, had he led him perfectly, would have had a touchdown.
Well, you got that right. Butcher had time to throw it. I think he just got a little excited. He should have laid it out and put a little more air under it. But Michigan is playing their defensive line without 2 of the starters here today. Orr is out and Hoyer is out.
Orr injured a knee in the last game out for Michigan. We don't know the extent of that injury. Third down. 7th play of the Illinois drive. Going to the end zone. Again, just a little bit too far in front this time of Brandon Lloyd.
I'm impressed with this offense. I mean, they moved the ball down. He missed a couple of shots, but he missed them on the wrong side, the right side. Missed them long away from the defensive man. But they had their shots. They should have had the play before that last one down the middle of the field.
Peter Christophilakis is coming in for a field goal attempt of 44 yards. Christophilakis' career long is 41. This would be the best he's ever had. Kick on the way. He got it. There's his best ever. He's got some happy teammates. Illinois' opening drive, Nets points. They lead 3-0.
I can't sleep, Mom. There are monsters in my closet.
I have an idea. There, honey. Feel safe?
Now the monsters are under the caravan.
No, they aren't. I'll show you.
Dodge Caravan. A feeling of security no matter what lies ahead.
Told you so.
Sure. Let's hide under the minivan. Great idea.
See Monsters, Inc. now on DVD and in the Dodge Caravan. Get a no extra charge DVD player on Caravan ES, plus Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty.
Possibly won. I thought that we could be friends, but now I know it was a fraud. Yeah, I'm alright. This is the way that I was taught. I'm trying to make it in this life, but I'm receiving no hell. First you say whoa, then you say yeah. Throw your hands in the air. First you say whoa, then you say yeah.
Pepsi Blue, a new fusion of berry and cola. Pepsi Blue, it's the mix.
Old Navy painter's pants are one of a kind.
A better price you'd be hard-pressed to find.
Quality construction, that's our guarantee.
Old Navy painters.
You're the pants for me.
The price
is nice.
He'll wear
this pair.
Wow, they're just $15 to $20 for men and boys.
Old Navy, we are there.
Now this here, that's the drain plug. It lets the oil drain out into the pan. Remember, she's got a lot of mileage on her, but one day, she'll be all yours.
Help keep the family car in the family with Valvoline's Max Life. Max Life, the first motor oil specially formulated to recondition used seals to help prevent leaks, helping your higher mileage engine run for a long, long time.
After our naps, we'll flush the radiator.
Now there's an entire line of Max Life products that'll help keep your higher mileage car around for a long time.
Tonight, Oscar winner Tom Hanks, Michael Clark Duncan, and Bonnie Hunt. You never know where miracles will happen. The network premiere, The Green Mile, ABC tonight.
So the opening drive for Illinois. 8 plays and 35 yards. They get the field goal to lead 3-0. And the kick is deep and non-returnable. So Michigan will have to work from its own 20-yard line. Let's check in at Times Square Stadium in New York. Here's John.
Brad, here's the Burger King update. Iowa led Penn State by 23 points at one time, but they come back and go to overtime. Zach Mills on 4th and 4. Hits his own guy right off the helmet. Bonk. There goes the victory. Iowa gets the win in overtime, 42-35. Brad.
Wow, was there some offense there? Whew.
I'll tell you, Kurt Ferentz has done a great job at Iowa.
That he has. Here's Navarre, quick drop, quick throw, and incomplete. In and out of the hands of Braylon Edwards. And the coverage was Eugene Wilson. Coming up next Saturday, Big Ten rivals collide. Joe Paterno and the Nittany Lions that we just talked about going to Madison. They'll take on the undefeated Wisconsin Badgers at 5-0. Or other regional action next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Gary Bowden, by the way, wraps up the weekend each Monday at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC Sports. We'll be in Madtown next week for the Nittany Lions and the Badgers. 2nd down and 10. Navarre from the gun. Here's a screen. Oh, boy, that was almost picked off. In and out of the hands of Jermaine Gonzalez.
Yeah. That's 2 in a row in and out of the hands on the first 2 plays of this series. You know, somebody's got to make a play to help the quarterback out. Gonzalez, number 18, a former quarterback, takes his eyes off the ball and starts looking at Hall, number 8. You know, the Illini have come out. They are fired up. They are sky high. They got beat on this field last week against San Jose State. They're ready for Michigan here today. Navarre is 1 of 5 with 3 drops.
Everybody uptight, their bear defense. Here comes the Illini. Navarre completes this one across the middle. Might be a first down to Calvin Bell. Boy, they sent the house there.
He got a poor mark. It looked like the linesman.
Yeah, he's short. You're right.
Yeah, he's short of the 30-yard line. The drive started on the 20. You can't take a chance this early in the ball game by going for it.
So the Illini defense holds again and forces another Adam Finley punt. They almost got Finley's last kick. See if they bring the heat again. They got relatively close again, but again he hangs one up there. And Wilson with a fair catch call. This time they back off and he'll field it at the 27-yard line.
They backed off.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. The delicious flame broiled Whopper from Burger King. At BK, you got it. Allstate, you can find out how the right hands can make all the difference for you. And Alamo, the official rental car of the American Vacation. Beautiful day in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. Clear skies in the 70s, and the Illini off to a 3-0 lead. First down. Give it off up the middle and then fake the end around. Kerry Davis on the carry. Zach Kaufman, one of the first guys there defensively for Michigan.
Michigan had like 13 or 14 defensive players on the field just to see what kind of what the personnel was going to be for Illinois, and then they ran off. It's very important if you match up. If the other team has 4 wide receivers, you want to have 6 defensive backs. If they only have 2 wide receivers, then you don't need all those backs.
2nd and 9. I backfield this time with Harris the tail. They fake it to him, and Ducher comes up throwing. And he's got a man, but he overshot him. And a flag in the backfield late. Intended for Walter Young. We've got a holding call coming up against Illinois.
Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, does a great job.
Their defense
been there for a while.
So good against the rush, 3rd in the Big Ten, 11th in the country, with the exception of the Notre Dame game.
10-yard penalty for the previous spot.
And that's one, you know, that Jim would just as soon forget. 210 yards Notre Dame got on the ground. But last week, Utah got 13. So Illinois knows that it's not going to be easy running the football.
This defense led the nation last year in sacks, so they're going up against a passing team in Illinois. So a lot of these linemen like to play this kind of a game.
Absolutely.
They're leading the Big Ten this year in sacks with 17.
Ramashek is the returning leader in the Big Ten in sacks. And he's got a flop to both sides, as we said, especially with Shante Orr injured. Dan will play both sides today at defensive end. 2nd down and 19. Butcher. And the screen pass out to Davis. Davis cuts back inside his blockers and got some of the penalty yardage back. Picked up about 6.
Kerry Davis is the fullback. He's really an undersized fullback in today's terms of football. He's only 6 foot, 215 pounds. Normally the fullbacks today, they go like 240, 250 and higher because they're blocking backs. Kerry has caught a lot of balls, 15 balls in his career.
Harris, the tailback's actually a little bit bigger than Kerry is, weight-wise. They're both in there, and here comes the blitz, picked up pretty nicely by the Illini offensive line, and now Butcher throws, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Jackson, the guy Swanee talked about, weaving his way back to the 15, and then the ball comes loose. Well, who's got it? It was Michigan ball, but is it still?
Well, it may be changing hands in there right now as we speak.
Illinois saying their ball. Obviously, Michigan's doing the same. And no word from the officials yet. Illinois comes off the bottom of the pile. Harris is the last guy off, but the officials still haven't told us.
Well, Marlon Jackson was holding that ball like it was a loaf of bread. Easy to knock loose under those circumstances, guys.
That's for sure.
First down.
I'm going to say down by contact. So that negates what we thought was a fumble recovery by Illinois. And it's the 2nd interception of the year for Marlon Jackson.
Watch the safety. It's a safety blitz. This is what causes Butcher to eject from the pocket. Now, watch it right here. He just doesn't get it over the defensive back. There's Jackson. The ball is going to be right to him. He was trying to throw it over his head to Lloyd, who was open.
So Michigan with an opportunity here with a turnover at the Illinois 15-yard line. Navarre play action. He's going to go to the end zone. Edwards incomplete. Nice job defensively by Wilson again. So that was the matchup we expected to see much of the day. Swanee touched on it. Eugene Wilson, their defensive captain, and their best cover guy, is pretty much shadowing right now Braylon Edwards.
Eugene led the nation last year in passes broken up, and in talking with him yesterday, I said, you know, that could be good or bad.
Good or bad.
I said, it's good that you broke up all those passes, but I wonder why they were throwing all those ones at you. He just smiled.
And Christian Morton in the secondary was actually 2nd in the country in passes broken up with 26 to his own teammate. 2nd and 10. Navarre again. Hit from behind, but he got it complete down to the 2-yard line to Benny Jopru. And Navarre got planted by Wilson after he let go of the ball, but he threw a strike. And more in the game plan of Michigan is Benny Jopru, the tight end.
Well, they're trying to get the ball to Jopru. He's right here. He's just going to come down and break to the outside. Corner blitz from the right side. He gets rid of it just in the nick of time.
The toss to Perry. Easy touchdown, Michigan. Chris Perry from a yard out. So the interception turns into 6 and possibly 7 points.
Illinois is 93rd in the nation in turnover margin, and here it is again. A turnover leads to a very short field for Michigan and the first touchdown of the game.
Troy Nienberg is going to come in for the point after. The kicking for Michigan this year, not necessarily in extra points, but in field goals, has been woeful at best. And Troy today will probably be the guy that gets the call instead of Philip Brabs. He does here for the extra point anyway, and he knocks it right down the middle. So Marlon Jackson's interception turns into a Michigan touchdown drive, albeit a short one. Chris Perry from a yard. It's 7-3 Wolverines.
you're wearing.
Yeah, you like it?
Oh, yeah.
Dodge. Grab life by the horns.
What have you been up to, Mr. Moneybags?
It's okay. I put it on the credit card.
Those interest charges are going to get us.
Don't worry. It's our new Capital One No Hassle card.
The Capital One No Hassle card has the nation's lowest long-term fixed rates, $0 fraud liability, and no telemarketing.
It's surprising how much you miss from 35,000 feet, especially this time of year. Can you hear the leaves of gold crunch beneath your feet? Feel the warmth of family, or show your old hometown to someone who's never seen it before. Get yourself down to ground level. That's where the memories live. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo Country, and with values like this, they're easy to explore. Alamo, the official rental car of the American vacation.
There's the turnover margin that Bob was talking about, 93rd in the nation. Ron Turner working the officials over the call, or what he thought perceived a lack of fumble call on Marlon Jackson's interception return. Now keep in mind, these two teams have a history of those kind of problems. 2 years ago, 2 huge calls, both went in Michigan's favor on what looked like fumbles.
Right here on this field.
Right here on this field. Brad's kick is deep, 5 yards in. Morris Virgil will not bring it out. And the Illini will work from the 20-yard line. So Illinois brings out the 5th best offense in the Big Ten against Lloyd Carr's defense that has been stingy, and today has already led to a touchdown. Reminder coming up at halftime on the Valvoline halftime show. John Saunders, Terry Brodden will have all the scores and highlights from across the country. Some surprises, some high-scoring ones. If you missed it, John already told us that Iowa beat Penn State in overtime in Happy Valley. Those 2 guys will be along coming up at halftime. Future, nice play fake, nobody near him, and deep sideline, got him out to the 39-yard line is Brandon Lloyd. Pickup of 19.
Butcher just took a little bit off of that one. He had been throwing it a little bit high, a little bit strong in arm, everything. That time he knew first down, good play action, and he had him beat by a mile. He said, just take your time and get it in there.
Brandon Lloyd's 20th catch of the year, his first today.
Lloyd doing
He's
a little stop and go. Yeah, he did a little stop and go.
16 career touchdown catches, his 2nd best all time on the Illinois list. Looking for his 10th 100-yard receiving game today, and he is a Blitnikoff candidate. And he's the kind of kid that just lights up a room when he walks in. Butcher, deep sideline for Lloyd, just over his outstretched fingertips. Marlon Jackson shadowing Brandon Lloyd, much as Eugene Wilson has done on the other side with Braylon Edwards.
Bob and Brad, early on in this ball game, the defensive coverage for Michigan has been outstanding. And Bob, I know you were talking about Butcher being a little bit off, but I think it may have been the fact that he had such tight coverage in his receivers. When you get that kind of coverage, the quarterback has to be perfect because there is no margin for error.
Early on, he had a couple guys that were wide open, and he kind of overthrew it.
Here's a nice run by Kerry Davis. Around about 9, maybe a little more. We talked about Davis and Antonio Harris, and I mentioned to Ron Turner when watching film of those guys, they just kind of plug along to get the job done. They're blue-collar guys. They're really not that flashy, but they're pretty good backs.
Well, they've run 13 plays, and Ron calls all the plays. 13 plays. The first 8 of the first 13 have been passes.
He knows he's got to have some kind of run, despite how tough Michigan is against the rush, to give that play action of Butcher a chance. They did get the first down. And they're close to midfield again. There's the play fake, and now turns and lets it fly for Young. Got him! Touchdown! That was the play action, and that was the play they were looking for. Walter Young, 51-yard touchdown. Penalty marker might be for a celebration. Illinois has had some trouble with that this year.
After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, excessive celebration. There'll be a 15-yard penalty. The try will be from the 18-yard line.
You know, Brandon Lloyd, the last time they were home here after a touchdown, kind of imitating what the NFL does, jumped one of the fences here in the end zone and went out and went into the stands where the Boy Scouts were. It's nice that he went and greeted the Boy Scouts. We talked to him yesterday. He says, Coach told me I'm not going to do anything celebrating. Well, maybe Walter Young didn't get the message. So that's been hurting Illinois this year. The excessive celebration, and it just stung them again. Christophilakis now is going to have a long extra point of 35 yards. But he knocks it down Main Street anyway.
Downtown.
So, big play. 80-yard touch, 80-yard drive, 51-yard touchdown.
Here's the play. It's going to be a little play action. He rolls back, and the receiver's going to deep middle. Watch for this. Zia Combs almost gets back to break it up. Play action fake. Now look downfield. Look deep downfield. Look, you see Diggs right there. He knows what's going on. And Combs from the right almost gets back. This was a heck of a throw.
And a beautiful catch by the 6'5" wide receiver.
Yeah, he pulled him across the field, and he expected the corner to be dropping off, and overthrew him too. Watch it now. Watch it.
Now, right now he's okay.
He's all right.
But he turns, and there comes, that one's okay. I think it's the next chest bump that's coming up. They had a little problem with those in recent games, too. That's
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. It apparently happened after that. And I think this is going to be it right here.
You see the official, yeah. Right.
Good job, guys. That's the one that got him, the fun bunch thing between he and Brandon Lloyd.
You see the official right there. That wasn't. That was. I don't know. Let him celebrate a little bit.
Yeah, I know. But you know, Walter Young, he's had to work. They did that fun bunch thing because I don't think he's got the knack of that chest bump deal that they have going on, because in previous weeks, Illinois following touchdowns, there's Walter Young and Brandon Lloyd, a little chest bump thing. Now, whoops, he got, whoop, now wait a minute. Now watch this next one. You got a lineman coming in. There he goes down. See, you need work on all that stuff. You just can't do that without practice.
Yeah, you got to check the number coming at you. If it's above 50, you better.
You got to duck.
Yeah.
First down from the 20 for Michigan. They trail now. 10-7. LeVar, three-step drop. Whoa, batted in the air. Knocked out of there by Derek Strong. And he swatted that baby all the way back to the goal line. Nice play. That's what they're looking for from him.
Well, Michigan is coming out, and they're throwing the ball a lot, too. And here, to the right of your screen, nobody touches. Can't see him in your screen there, but it was Strong, I think, 98, that jumped up and got a piece of it. Michigan is throwing because 8 men at the line of scrimmage. You got single coverage. Illinois is forcing him to throw the football, stopping the run.
LeVar only 3 out of 9, but he's had 3 passes dropped. Over the middle, this one's hung on to by Edwards. Off to the races, Braylon Edwards, all the way out near midfield. That time he hit Edwards on the fly, and he picks up 29 yards.
You know, for quarterbacks and receivers, this is a fun defense to play against, because you've got single coverage downfield. And when you have single coverage downfield, you can get some pitch and catches and long runs. You just better not hold the ball back there very long, because you ain't going to have a lot of time.
That's right. So Edwards with that catch. There's his numbers, leading the team. He's become their big play guy. He's out to the top of your screen on a first down, Michigan from its own 49-yard line. Askew. It's on the Illinois side of the 50, picked up 2 or maybe 3. Jerry Schumacher, the middle linebacker, one of the first to greet him. Schumacher, number 42, is the defensive captain from the south side of Chicago. And if you ever want to talk to a kid from the south side of Chicago and you know it without asking him, you talk to Jerry Schumacher. His daddy played at Michigan. His uncle coached at Michigan. He said we have some pretty interesting group gatherings for the family when Michigan plays Illinois.
And some real good tailgate parties before the games and after.
Yeah, they got kielbasa going on there or something.
Here they come.
Good parties. Here comes a blitz and knocked down again. And it's Schumacher.
It's a nice job by the Illini when you can't get to the quarterback and he's throwing quickly. You get your hands up. Here comes Schumacher.
Nice push, and then got his hand up there.
Right here. He's the one that got him.
There's Jerry. He said, it's too bad you guys are leaving town. My family would love to have you over for a tailgate when the game's over.
Michigan's third downs have been 11, 10, and 8. That's not what you want on third down.
Third down, a short 8. Here they come after Navarre across the middle again to Edwards, and he broke a tackle inside the 40. Now he's off to the races. Braylon Edwards with Wilson to beat. Wilson trying to track him down and does, but not before he gets to the 6-yard line.
Yeah. You're playing with poison when you go single coverage with some of these Michigan wide receivers. Braylon Edwards, short pass, long run. Coming across. Right there now. You got single. Morton's got to make the tackle. Just make the tackle. Now, Illinois defensively had what they wanted. It was going to be a fourth down. They would have had to kick the ball, but Morton didn't come down with it.
First and goal now, Michigan at the Illinois 6. Perry and Askew behind Navarre, but he comes up with a fade for Bellamy. Touchdown, Michigan. Perfectly thrown ball from Navarre, and Bellamy went up and got it.
That's just pitch and catch. Wide side of the field. Just throw a fade to your big guy and let him go catch it. 13 of the first 17 plays for Michigan have been a pass. Now that's just perfect execution.
Absolutely.
Morton again.
Nienberg in for the point after. They're trying to give Michigan the lead back. They already have the lead back, but try to stretch it to 4 with 5:39 to go in the quarter. And the extra point is up and good. So we're throwing it around the ball yard today. The wide receivers are the heroes. Bonnie loves that. It's a chest bump day in Champaign.
Neat, you can dunk, but you can't dip.
Your dip is gone, baby.
What are you talking about? No dip.
Introducing Tostitos Scoops.
Let me tell you something, Bill. I put the hip in chip. Watch this.
With the bite-sized bowl-shaped design for the perfect dip every time. Tostitos Scoops. Whoa. The dip lover's chip.
This is my house.
Yes, it is.
No, this is my house. You guys got to go.
Also great with Queso Supreme Dip.
Hey, America, I'm the new 99-cent BK value menu. I got chili, I got 2 crispy tacos. You gotta feed those kids, right?
Yes.
These all your kids?
Yes, and I'm her mother.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were her sister.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, who was like 30 years older than her, but still her sister. Yeah.
The all-new BK value menu speaks for itself. Now, get 11 items for 99 cents every day. And have it your way in more ways.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, FedEx guy.
Let's get to work.
So it can store up to 1,000 addresses. It lets you print labels and find a drop box. It can email you when the package has been delivered and more. FedEx.com is just like having your own FedEx guy. Hey. Yeah? Kind of freaked me out, man.
How do you say funny in Spanish?
George.
George. Almost.
Lopez!
That's it. George Lopez. Premieres Wednesday after My Wife and Kids on ABC.
Matching back-to-back 80-yard touchdown drives by both Michigan and Illinois. And Michigan has answered the lead 14-10.
Both quarterbacks are playing well, and both defenses are pressuring. Two different types of play, zone and drop off, and come after them and blitz them. And both defenses are attacking, and that leaves the quarterback one-on-one in the secondary.
Marlon Jackson's interception led to one Michigan score.
For the Illini, Hall number 8, Virgil number 20.
Grabs to kick. And this one won't be returnable either. 6 yards deep. Virgil will take a knee. Let's take a look at our Dodge defensive playbook, Bob.
Well, we're talking about two ways. Here they're going to blitz. The two linebackers blitz, and the free safety blitzes, forcing the quarterback not to stay in the pocket right here, but he sees a free man coming, so he has to get outside the pocket. Now he's got to throw under pressure on the run. Now, he's got the receiver open, but because he had to throw on the run, it's the defensive man in between them that picks it off. That's Marlon Jackson.
That led to a touchdown. Now from the 20, Butcher, play action again, and he's going to come out to the near side, and it's complete for a first down to his tight end. First time he's hit Anthony McClellan today. And a pick up of 13.
It's like a passing drill on Thursday afternoons.
It sure is. It's a perfect day to throw it. It's not even windy today. And normally this stadium, in this part of the country in general, is windy. But it's mid-70s and clear skies and very little wind. First down at the 33 for Illinois. High backfield this time. And again, off play action. Butcher throws another strike. This one's to Moorhead. He's out of bounds. And he's out to about the 48-yard line.
Pitch and catch.
Moorhead's a guy that caught the tying touchdown before losing in overtime to San Jose State last week.
He's one of the four that have there's what Michigan is doing. There's a lot of defensive backs, 4 defensive backs that are on the field waiting to go out or to come back off the field depending on the personnel for Illinois.
Here comes a blitz. Butcher had it knocked down by Dan Rumashek, who dropped into zone coverage on that blitz there. Rumashek almost had himself an interception.
They're coming. There's the ones to the left there. The ones to the left are watching the defensive call. These guys right here. Now they say, all right, you don't need us out there. You're not going to make the call. What Herman is doing is seeing the personnel that they're sending in and getting ready to adjust.
Here's a counter. Harris in the open field. So they rip off a big run of 24 yards.
It's good blocking up front. That's Boobin on the left side. Number 70's Babcock, who came around from the right guard spot. Deal is in there. Good blocking up front. The Illini have got him thinking pass, and now they're going to run it at him.
174 yards of Illinois offense already. Here's Butcher off play action, rolls and throws. Overshot Lewis again. Second time breaks. Been somewhat open, and both times he missed him.
But he had to err on the long side because there was a corner to the outside that he had to make sure it didn't drop off.
John's numbers 125 and a touchdown so far.
This is a little replay, play action. Quarterback sprints out, gives you lots of time. Now the reason he throws this long is because of this guy right here. He's got to make sure that that corner doesn't drop off and get it. Just missed it.
So it's second down at 10 at the Michigan 28. Illinois trailing by 4. An action-packed first quarter. Nice little delay, and it's Davis. Got down to the 22.
We mentioned that this is Ron Turner's offense. He's the offensive coordinator.
I know what you're going to say.
Well, I said, you know, it's closest to an NFL type of offense than anybody in college football. And, you know, he calls our Uncle Narvel.
Norv Turner's his brother.
Is his brother with the Dolphins, and they talk a couple times a week. And he said, Norv says, hey, well, this really worked well for us last week.
Maybe you want to try this.
You want to try it, and he does.
The players call Norv Turner Uncle Norval. And of course, Ron was with the Bears a long time before taking this job. Moorhead, did he catch it? No, he's out of bounds. Boy, came down with it in double coverage, but couldn't get a foot in.
Yeah, Drake was there and almost got a piece of it.
Curry was there as well. And that's a pretty looking play for something that doesn't net any points. We'll get another look at it. Christophilakis comes in to attempt a 38-yard field goal. He's already hit from 44, which was his career long. And he's got another one. Peter Christophilakis, his second field goal. They settled for 3 and what could have been 6. Let's take another look at almost a touchdown.
from behind the quarterback. He makes a fake, and all that does is draw the free safety over there. That's Drake. Let's see. No, he didn't get a foot in. You got to get a foot in, even though the guys are pushing you out of bounds.
Who hit the pylon, though? The defender or the offensive player? That was a Michigan foot that hit the pylon, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, but look at the other. Look right here. The sock, the black sock. Right.
Oh boy. I
The
tell you,
official
you
is
can't
there.
get any closer than the official is, though.
But he's blocked out. I mean, he's got to look through two guys to see that foot inside. I mean, if I were that official, you know, the chances are he didn't get his foot down, right? There you go here. And he's on the line. That official made the right call.
I think he did. I think he did.
Yeah, if he'd called it the other way, we would have said he made a mistake.
At any rate, they got a field goal back and cut the lead to 1. Bachman's kick. This one from the goal line is returnable for LeSueur. Jeremy LeSueur straight up the middle and out just across the 25-yard line. Coming up tomorrow, it's the most anticipated family reunion of the year as a mother with a secret past meets a daughter who's a secret agent. The Emmy-winning Alias season premiere. Jennifer Gardner. Is anybody better around than her? I don't think so. ABC tomorrow, 9/8 Central Time.
I'm just getting into that one.
I know you are. Swanee loves that one.
Yeah.
Swanee's favorite.
But you know, I got NYPD Blue and I got to practice.
Oh yeah.
I ain't got much time. But
you got to study sometime.
Yeah, I got to study, but I'm into Alias now.
Blue was great last week, wasn't it? That retrospective was awesome.
Yeah.
From the 25. Here's Navarre. Just overshot Calvin Bell, who had a deep out and had a step on his man. Michigan State has beaten Northwestern, as you see, by 15, 39-24 today.
Michigan State finally gets a win.
Iowa winner over Penn State in overtime at Happy Valley. Minnesota and Purdue meet in a couple hours. They start their game. And here it's 14-13 in a seesaw battle between the Illini and the Wolverines. A lot of passing today for Michigan. And Navarre's back to put it up again and completes it again to Bellamy, who caught the touchdown on the fade. Pick up a 5 out to the 30. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 5.
I'm sure Michigan came in here thinking that they were going to run the football, because last week against San Jose State, Illinois played about 85% zone coverage. Today, they're just the opposite. They have not had one down of zone. They are attacking, coming after, forcing Michigan to throw the football.
Mike Cassidy, the Illinois defensive coordinator, said we had 56 snaps of zone last week. We probably didn't have 56 snaps of zone all of last year. They're back to what they do better. Navarre in a crossing pattern and a drop for a loss on that man-to-man coverage. Schumacher all over Bell. And it's time to punt for Michigan.
Illinois had been playing well on 1st and 2nd downs this year, but couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. That time, good coverage by everybody.
So it forces Finley punt. They've been getting close to his kicks, but he's gotten them away, and they've been nice ones. This time he hangs it high but shorter, and Wilson with a fair catch will take it at the 36-yard line. 34-yard punt. Ron Turner, you talked about the pro influence. Of course, he's with the Bears before he took this job, but he's been around some good quarterbacks, both the pros and in college. Sean Salisbury, ESPN analyst now. Jim Harbaugh, one of his quarterbacks. Roddy Peete, whose career has been resurrected with the unbeaten Carolina Panthers. These are just some of the guys Ron's coached. Jeff Garcia was his head coach at San Jose State for a year.
Yep.
And then Kurt Kittner, who's now with the Atlanta Falcons and was a star here and led them to a 10-1 season last year before their loss in the Sugar Bowl.
Big Ten Coach of the Year last year, was a finalist for the National Coach of the Year.
He did a heck of a job. From the 36, again, play action in Butcher with plenty of time, and now he runs out of it and runs out of the pocket as well. His slide's a little short of a 1st down, but he gets it out to the 45-yard line.
Nice job by Butcher. 1st down play action, a good call by Turner. gave it a look downfield. Nobody was open. Picks up 7 or 8 yards with a scramble.
So poised back there in the pocket for a guy that really was a start until a couple games ago, and then just lit it up in the last 2 weeks.
Spent his first 2 years at the University of Iowa. Came over here his 3rd year and sat out for 1 season.
Davis takes it wide and gets a first down out near the 49-yard line. Julius Curry knocked him down there, but it's another Illini first down with just under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. So Illinois trailing by 1. And again, Michigan changes up their defense according to this 3 wide out set.
And they have practiced this type of thing. Herman is ready for anything.
Future goes to the far side, incomplete to Walter Young. And Marlon Jackson was out there in some loose coverage. Coming up tomorrow, 5-time Formula One Series champ Michael Schumacher comes to legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the United States Grand Prix. Tomorrow live, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific, right here on ABC. He can drive, but he can't play middle linebacker for Illinois. It's 2 different Schumachers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see Jerry in a car either. That'd be ugly.
Yeah.
At the 49, first down. Running right by a corner blitz. Morris Virgil almost broke that. Picked up 12 yards in a hurry.
Yeah, and he made a guy miss. He's going to go, and then right here, right there, he made a man miss. That's the middle linebacker getting it up there for the first down. Running back has to do that. You can't block them all. You got to make somebody miss.
There's Morris Virgil's numbers, including 131 and a 69-yard touchdown romp against Arkansas State earlier this year. Future play action, pressure, and down he goes. That time they got to him. Curry came on the safety blitz, and then it collapsed on him, and he got help from his defensive lineman to put the quarterback of Illinois on his back.
Julius Curry is going to come from this side over here. He's going to come from just outside the frame. There he shows up. It's blocked, but not very well, and he gets pressured. Michigan is always sent a lot of their linebackers and of their defensive backs on the blitz.
Virgil tried to stick his nose in there, but he's a little guy, and Curry basically ran him over.
Virgil's 5'10". Curry's about 220 pounds.
So back to the 46-yard line, and they whistle stoppage here.
Timeout, Michigan.
Michigan's taking a timeout.
First 1.5.
With 26 seconds left in the quarter. They'll regroup their defense on the sideline around Jim Herman. And while they take a timeout, we'll take one with them. 26 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Michigan leads Illinois by 1.
Big Ten Women's Sports, for the love of the game.
Alias's Jennifer Garner is everywhere. She has been in dozens of magazines and even won a Golden Globe. As Sydney Bristow, she's a top secret, undercover master of disguise government agent who's so cool.
Do me a favor, Daria.
TV Guide needs 3 separate covers just to cover her.
Freeze!
There's never been a better time to leap into the adventure. Alias premieres tomorrow at 9/8 Central, followed by the season premiere of The Practice on ABC.
14-13 Michigan, late first quarter. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew in Champaign, Illinois, Memorial Stadium. Packed house, beautiful day, and both teams throwing it around the ball yard right now.
Hey, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. They've had 10 possessions in the first quarter alone. 5 each.
It's a second down and 17 after the Michigan timeout. Blitz again. Butcher throws through the hands of Brandon Lloyd, his intended receiver. So it's 3rd down and long.
Defending was Zia Combs, number 31.
Lloyd, they've tried to get it to him 5 times. He has 1 catch. There's Dustin Ward, 11. He started early in the season. They got 3 quarterbacks out there sending in signals. 2 of them are dummies, and I don't mean that badly. But
yeah, I think they all got some itches. They're all just moving around. All 3 of them. They all 3 have headsets on.
Little baby powder will help that.
I don't know which one is hot.
3rd down, 17. Butcher, plenty of time in the pocket. Goes across the middle to his fullback. Davis, fumble! Who's going to get it? Michigan's got it. It's Julius Curry.
Another turnover for Illinois.
Curry on the bottom of the pile. Hobson's the guy that caused the fumble, and Michigan takes over.
In 4.5 games, now they've turned it over 10 times and only have gotten it 3. Davis, number 24, is the outlet. Just gives it to him. Secure the ball. See how much yardage you can get. Ball is knocked out early.
Then it was still loose until Curry got it and rolled over the top of the 42-yard line.
Michigan's turnover margin, they were plus 3 coming in. Now they're +5.
Navarre on the give to Perry. One of the few times Michigan's run it today, and Chris got about 5, and that will just about do it for the first quarter. A lengthy first quarter with a lot of offense. End of 1. Lloyd Carr's Michigan Wolverines on the road, leading the defending Big Ten champs 14-13.
Allstate presents The Right Hands Make All the Difference. Last week, Michigan State's Charles Rogers tied an NCAA record with this touchdown. It was his 12th straight regular season game with a TD reception. But on this day, it was his 2nd touchdown catch that raised eyebrows.
Smoke will be looking. That's his left, goes left, back to the Rogers up in the air. Grabs it, touchdown! Rogers makes the grab in the back of the end zone. Turn right.
Say goodbye to machines taking up valuable office space and tap into the Kinko's network.
Nature made it. Minwax makes it beautiful with rich wood stains and long-lasting protective finishes. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
New 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it.
Shannon Sharp and ex-teammate Ray Lewis collide when the Broncos battle the Ravens.
Michaels and Madden are here for Monday night.
Set to start the 2nd quarter at Memorial Stadium. Michigan leading Illinois by 1. And they've got the ball back courtesy of that fumble recovery by Julius Curry, who saved the day against Utah last week with 2 interceptions, and today he stops what appeared to be a possible Illinois scoring drive with a fumble recovery. 2nd down and 4 for the Wolverines. Navarre, quick drop, the throw complete to Jackrew, but really no gain on the play. Taman Jordan was there to make sure Benny wasn't going anywhere with that catch. Jordan, a sophomore out of Tempe, Arizona.
Does this sound like a Michigan offense to you? They've had 22 plays, 17 of them been passes.
Wow. There's that third down conversion. Hasn't been good this year and not so far today either. Askew will be the single setback, and all three wideouts will go to the right of John Navarre on a 3rd down and 4. Bell in motion toward the ball. Navarre goes short to Japru, and I don't know, he might have the first down. I think he does. Ty Myers upended him, but then he stretched out that 6'5" frame. I think he got it. Then one of the captains of this team.
Michigan has always thrown a lot of passes through their tight ends. Japru is as good as a lot of the tight ends they've had the last 4 or 5 years.
Mike Cassidy, defensive coordinator for Illinois, said the two guys that really worried him were 35, Askew, and 83, Japru, and that's even with the wide receivers that Michigan has. And here comes the aforementioned Chris Perry.
Ball carrier, Chris Perry.
And Perry with a good run. So Michigan's got something working here. They work it inside the Illinois 40-yard line down to the 39. Perry has had some fumble problems this year, and it forced him to find a place on the sideline at Michigan. Lloyd Carr, you start dropping the ball, and you at times are not going to play.
There's Terry.
Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator, right in the middle in the Michigan coach's booth. 2nd down, a short 2. Nice play fake by Navarre, but he's getting some heat from the corner, and now he's going down. Ryan Latha with a sack.
There's just nobody open downfield. There was one receiver going deep. He had 2 guys on him, and the outlet was coming across shallow, and he was not open either. It's a good step up by Navarre right there. But there's the face mask.
And Navarre says they're pulling on my mask.
That's tough. When you're a defensive player, you get an opportunity for a sack, and then you inadvertently, that was not on purpose, just grab the face mask.
There's no foul in the play. The defender hit helmet on top of the head. No foul in the play.
Now they're going to pick it up.
What did he say? He hit him on the top of the head?
Apparently they're going to say not a face mask, and they'll pick it up.
Well, I know this was inadvertent. Well, I think that's a good call.
Might be.
I think that's a good call.
Lloyd Carr doesn't think so.
He did have his hand on the top of the front of the helmet where the face mask is, but it didn't have the middle, and he didn't pull it or turn it.
So it brings up 3rd down. 3rd and 9. Navarre, blitz coming. And nice play defensively by Eugene Wilson. And it was on Braylon Edwards. We told you, and Swanee told you, that's the matchup today. And boy, that's picture-perfect cornerback play right there.
That's why he's a preseason All-American. Wilson, 28, sees the break, sees the ball, avoids the receiver, and gets his hand, knocks it away.
You get that left hand around, you've done your job. That was perfect. And he'll drop back now as a punt returner, as again they force a Michigan kick. Finley to punt. Another high spiral. Wilson's going to have to let it go. Michigan's got to play. Maybe. Did they get it?
Well, I thought the ball hit the line.
Touchback. It'll come out to the 20. Nice effort, though. 46-yard kick. Good coverage. Almost kept that from hitting the end line. Zia Combs was down there. So it'll be Illinois from the 20-yard line. 12:36 remaining in the half. An ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road. Discover Card, it pays to discover. Singular Wireless, introducing Singular Rollover. They're your minutes, keep them. And Olive Garden, where great Italian food tells you when you're here, you're family. Our ABC family here at Champaign, Illinois for the Big Ten opener. 3rd straight year these two teams have played one another to open the Big Ten season. Last year, the only blemish on the regular season suffered by Illinois was the loss to Michigan 45-20 in the opener, and then they ran the table.
Till the end.
Till the end.
Beating the Sugar Bowl. They were 10-2 and had an outstanding year. Won the Big Ten championship. You know, the Big Ten championship's been up for grabs the last 10 or 12 years. A lot of different teams going to the Rose Bowl.
2nd down and 8. Michigan will blitz from the corner. Butcher. Ball was tipped, still caught. I think it was Moorhead on the sideline. He makes some tough catches. He's a big receiver as well, 6'3 plus. Talked about defending Big Ten champs, and their quarterback was Kurt Kittner. He's a Swanee.
Thank you very much, Brad. You were talking about Kurt, and you were talking about Ron Turner, the head coach and offensive coordinator. How important was the foundation he taught you as a quarterback to you right now to try to make a pro team?
He does a tremendous job of just teaching little things, timing, just overall knowledge of defenses and things like that. I mean, you can't really learn anywhere else. He's a great coach.
Here's John. Look at this young man who's playing for Illinois right now. What do you think of his talent in the future?
You know, he's learning. He's doing well. He's coming along as the games go, and that's good. I mean, as long as you're learning, you're getting better, not worse. Doing a good job of throwing the ball, making sure that the defense isn't touching them. And as long as you keep the ball in our hands and not in theirs, you're always got a good chance of winning games.
Kurt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, well, the guy that Kurt beat out as a quarterback at Illinois just caught one over the middle for 20 yards. Walter Young, former quarterback, catches it from Butcher. We wish Kurt the best. I don't know if I'd want to be behind Doug Johnson and Mike Vick as a pro quarterback, but they're too young. Down the middle, this one's a skip rock, and it's picked off. Michigan going the other way. Charles Drake, the safety, still on his feet. Drake's inside the 25-yard line. Second interception, third turnover.
Again, the turnover bug hits Illinois. That's the third turnover of the day.
Julius Curry tipped that pass, and then Drake took it the other way.
Tight coverage. Here it is from the end zone. Drops back, good protection.
That's Curry, and that's Drake.
Yeah, he shouldn't have thrown that ball. He was covered all the way. Young was kind of hanging back, and Curry had a better chance of catching it than Young did.
46-yard return, too. And now Perry with a hurdle job, and he's all the way down near the 15-yard line. The turnover bug is killing Illinois so far this year, and 3 today.
Yeah, you know, and I'm sure one of the things that Turner is telling him right now is you've got to take care of the football. So we need to throw the ball around, and we need to make plays, but you've got to take care of the ball. We can't turn it over, especially midfield, to a good team like Michigan.
Second short. Perry met in the hole and close to a first down. Schumacher was there along with Mike O'Brien. And let's see where they spot this. It'll be pretty close. It'll be close enough to look at. Yep, they're going to have to measure. 10:46 remaining in the half. Michigan got one of their touchdowns courtesy of a short field after the interception by Marlon Jackson. And now they're on the short field courtesy of Charles Drake's interception in return. And looking for a first down inside the 15-yard line of Illinois. First down.
Michigan came into the ball game with 11 takeaways. In their first 4 games, he ranked second in the Big Ten. Now they've got 14, a very aggressive defense. It's a +6 ratio, and that is very good.
So the first down gives Michigan moving the sticks at the 14-yard line of Illinois. Sanderson, their big fullback's in there on a wing on the left side. He'll be the motion man, all 290 of them. And it's Perry running that way, and now cutting back inside the 10 down to the 9. Brett Carter made the tackle, but a nice cutback run by Perry. And now Illinois changes up their defensive front. They've got a rotating system where basically they bring in 4 fresh new bodies, and they might need them right here because the defense could be getting a little bit tired.
Yep.
It is not a cool day. It's perfect if you don't have to have 40 pounds of pads on. At the 9, second down and 5. Perry is behind
Single
Big
coverage.
Sanderson.
Single coverage down here. We got Wilson and Braylon Edwards.
Toss sweep to Perry. Again, he cuts back. Out about the 7-yard line. Schumacher was down there along with Joe Beavis.
Talk about Chris Perry. He's put the ball on the ground 3 times in the first 4 games for Michigan.
Well, and that's why I said earlier he spent some time on the bench because of it, because you just don't fumble in Michigan and he can get himself in trouble with things like this against Notre Dame. Had things going well, had it stripped. And then the one that really irked the coaching staff was against Utah. He tried to dive over the top and he gave up the ball, popped it into the end zone, and Utah recovered. And then he spent some time on the pine. Right now he's got a pretty good day going. Has one touchdown.
Single coverage down here.
And Navarre's going that way, and the slant to Edwards, touchdown.
Yeah. Edwards on Wilson. Edwards wins.
6-yard scoring strike, Navarre to Braylon Edwards.
Yeah, they had single coverage. They had single coverage down there for like the last 2 or 3 plays, and finally Terry Malone calls and says, hey, let's go after this guy.
He's had a splendid day, but that's just one-on-one out there. And Edwards got the inside approach. Nienberg in for the point after. Trying to make it 21-13. And does. So again, for the second time today, an interception has led to a Michigan score. And it's Braylon Edwards against the All-American, 6 yards, touchdown. Back at Memorial Stadium, it is now 21-13 Michigan with 9:01 to go in the half. As following an interception, they have scored again 2 touchdowns off the 3 turnovers. The fumble recovery didn't result in points, but both interceptions did. Grabs to kick. Again, he knocks it deep. And this will not be returned. Morris Virgil will take a knee. Let's go back. You know, quarterbacks never quit salivating. I don't care how old they are.
Well, look at this. Look at all this room out here that this receiver's got. He's just going to run a little slant to the inside. Look at all the room where the other guys are way on the other side. Look at this. You got one-on-one out there. Braylon Edwards, I don't care who you got out there. Deion Sanders, you name it. My receiver's going to get open somewhere. I get Swanee out there. He'd beat anybody.
That's right.
I might limp into the end zone, but I could beat him.
It only took a short move. It was only 6 yards. And now Illinois trying to answer. And they go with Morris Virgil. Virgil got 4. Zach Kaufman in on the tackle.
It's just tough when your defense is not playing that well. And Illinois defensively has played well in spots, but they just can't get themselves off the field. A lot of third downs for the offense to turn the ball over, especially in their own field position. Like you said, they've got 2 touchdown drives, one of 15 yards and one of 24 yards.
Those follow the interceptions. Young in motion, 4 wide receiver group for Butcher. And he's going to loft it far side. Let's see, incidental contact, they'll say, as they got tangled up over there. Brandon Lloyd and Marcus Curry got their legs all tangled up. And it brings up second down. Our Aflac trivia question this week. Who was the last individual or team from the University of Illinois to win a national title? That's a tough one.
Yeah, individual.
Okay, you have to think about that one. I'll tell you what, if it's real obscure, I'm going down to the truck. I'm going to have a chat with those guys. We don't know these answers,
they don't
folks.
Give us,
they don't give us the answers.
They used to last year.
Yeah.
Now we don't get them.
Just to make us look good. From the 24. Wow, as Butcher hit as he threw, and Lloyd, though, is on the other end. John delivered it. Pickup of 11, first down, and let's head to Times Square Stadium and John Saunders.
Well, Brad, Seneca Wallace, obviously one of the players to watch this season for the Heisman Trophy. Here's why. Good arm, plus can run. Throws this one 3 yards to Lane Danielson. 2-point conversion, no good. But Iowa State leads in Nebraska 19-7.
Boy, would Ames go crazy tonight.
Hello.
Huh? Yep.
Hello. Well, they've got him at home. They've got him. They got a good football team. They got an outstanding quarterback.
Remember, they're about a yard shy of being undefeated. That Florida State game ended at the 1-yard line.
Yes, yes.
And Florida State, I'm sure most of you know, upset in overtime by Louisville on Thursday night. Earlier today, another overtime game in what has to be considered an upset, to mild proportions anyway. Iowa over Penn State in a high-scoring game in overtime. John Butcher today has been knocked down a few times, only sacked once.
Iowa State's on my list. Got one of my hot teams.
I know you like them.
Yeah,
we're going to have the hots and the nots sometime during this game.
They're playing good.
Second of the short 8. Screen pass. Nobody up in front. It doesn't have to be a screen because Davis is just going to do it on his own. Kerry Davis down into Michigan territory. Cato June finally brought him down. I think this was supposed to be a screen, but the lineman never got out there.
We mentioned that Davis came into the ball game with 15 receptions. He's a fullback. He looks to his left and then just dumps it off. There's no lineman out there.
They're trying to get there, but they weren't fast enough.
Oh, Kerry says, I can't wait for you guys. I'm going. I see all this yardage out here. I'm going to eat it up.
That's right. I don't have to wait for blockers. 262 yards of offense in this first half already. But remember, 600 yards didn't get him a win last week. And here's Davis. Cut down. Ball is loose. And a helmet comes out of the pile on top of it.
That's Preston's helmet, the center. Duke Preston. I think Michigan got it back. I mean, Illinois got it back. Michigan has knocked the ball loose 3 or 4 times. One of the things in talking with Ron Turner, he said Michigan has always been a good tackling team. Watch this. Puts his helmet right in there. That's LeSueur, number 21.
Not only that, Kerry Davis came out after that pileup and that hit limping. And he comes to the sideline, and Morris, Virgil, who kind of limped off earlier in this drive, is back in at tailback. They fake it to him. Butcher with a beautiful play fake. Will he have time to throw? He's going to run it on his own now. Flags down. And a great run might be negated by a holding penalty, but he goes all the way down to the 22-yard line.
Yeah, that definitely was thrown by the line judge. Do it late, and it looked like he threw it in the backfield. It's got to be a hold.
John's going to find that out and say, wow, I ran all that way for nothing. And that's a call. Penalties and turnovers never do you any good.
Well, you know, it doesn't matter if you average 350 yards a game and get 600 yards of offense.
Holding on the offense.
If you hold
right
right
from
there,
the previous
that
spot.
was a takedown.
Still second down.
That was a takedown. We're going to see it again. Right here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a collar job. You're right. Whew. And there's Kerry Davis, who we're talking about. And they're working on his right lower leg, it appears, after he limped off after that hit put on him by Jeremy LeSueur that forced the fumble that Illinois did retain possession on. And they look like they're getting out a knee sleeve for him.
Yeah, what I was saying, Brad, it doesn't matter how much offensive yardage you make and how many points. If you turn the ball over and help the other team score on your offense, on your defense,
you're never going to win.
Yeah, you cannot turn it over.
Quick slant, Moorhead incomplete. And it's going to be 3rd down and 16 upcoming. At the conclusion of our game today, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. So the play comes back in from the bench in the person of Morris Virgil, who lets John Butcher know what it is and what John has done on 3rd down today. 50%. They've passed on every 3rd down. We assume they will here too on 3rd down and a mile.
Here they come.
Michigan edging closer, and now they bring the blitz. Look out. John got away from one. That didn't get away from the second one.
Too many of them.
Charles Drake came around the backside to put him down. Lawrence Reed put the pressure on early.
And Drake is a strong safety. Drake's a strong safety, and he gets another sack. Mention how all the linebackers, he's going to come from over here. Mention how all of the linebackers and DBs get a lot of sacks for Michigan.
Matt Minnis into punt. Illinois ran their punt team out there like they were going to try to snap it and catch Michigan napping, and they almost got it blocked. He took a lot of time, hung a nice kick. Julius Curry, good punt returner on the other end, but they have him all wrapped up. 36-yard punt, a 5-yard return. It is Michigan in front with 4:48 to go in the first half.
You know,
Michigan in front. They've got the ball back. Our Pacific Life game summary. Here's how the Wolverines have gotten the lead. Braylon Edwards, the catch in the long run. 42-yarder. He was run down from behind, but it set up the fade to Bellamy in the corner of the end zone with a nice catch and a touchdown. And then later, the quick slant to Edwards for the other touchdown through the air. Navarre wants another one. Going long on the sideline. Not quite. Intended for Braylon Edwards, and it was Wilson again covering. So Michigan's wide receivers and the corners on both sides, everybody's getting a workout.
Well, they're loving it because 8 guys are in the box to stop the run. And you've got single coverage outside. Just play pitch and catch.
Michigan with their first half possessions. The drive summary. Touchdowns on short fields that Bob mentioned.
Yeah, this one and this one.
Those were following interceptions.
Yeah. They had one that they took 80 yards on their own, but the other ones have been helped by their defense.
They've added in as an extra wide receiver. Here's the throwback. Askew. Nice open field tackle by Mike Hall. Mike Hall sees a lot of action as a corner, and in the nickel coverage especially. Senior out of Bakersfield, California. First completion to a running back, Bob, in the game for Michigan right there.
Well, and you know, when you've got single coverage on the outside and you've got all your big play people one-on-one, there is no need.
Right.
Say, I'm going to throw this short stuff. I'm going to throw that big stuff to my fast guys.
Jopper's got a couple of catches, too, from his tight end spot. Third down, a big third down for the Illini defense here if they want to get it back before halftime. And tipped and caught. Calvin Bell tipped that thing to himself, and he got a first down.
Yeah, very fortunate there.
Picked up 13 yards.
How often does that ever happen?
Boy, he kept his eye on it. Good concentration to stay with it.
He's coming across. Right there.
And he keeps his eye. See his head?
Yeah, and there's no defensive guy around there to take his head off. Well, that's what usually happens.
All his catches have come on third down. Here's good run by Perry, and he picked up about 9. Taman Jordan made the tackle, so Michigan back in Illinois territory, and will have a second down and short coming up as we work down to the 3.5-minute mark of the first half.
This Michigan offense frustrated last week at home against Utah, only scoring 10 points, and they had chances to score other points. They fumbled in the end zone. They broke down offensively. But that defense for Utah was a pretty good defense.
Yep. Second and short. Sometimes this is a play you can play with a bit, but they'll keep it straight up the middle. And Perry's got a first down inside the 40 to the 39. Sinclair has made the tackle there. We approach the 3-minute mark. Our Aflac trivia question here was, who was the last individual or team from the University of Illinois to win a national title? I'm kind of stumped. Swanee, you got any idea?
Well, I think I do. Matter of fact, if this is a 2001 yearbook, you won't find her picture in it, but you will find it, well, right here. We're going to go to a play and we'll come back.
And the first down play, Navarre. Quick out. Bellamy knocked out of bounds. Back to Swanee.
Oh, Brett, here's her picture right here. It's Erica Harold. She is the Miss America for 2003, class of 2001 at the University of Illinois. She postponed her law school entrance into Harvard so she could compete in the competition. But she's the last national title winner for Illinois. Unless, of course, you want to go to sports, then the last sports team to win was the men's gymnastics team in 1989. And the last individual was actually Perdita Felician. She won the 60-meter hurdles indoor.
And you're cheating. You're cheating.
I am.
End around is coming. Double reverse. Bellamy takes it around the right side, and he got some room. Inside the 20, late flag flies in. I think we're going to have an illegal block on Chris Perry. It'll negate a 14-yard double reverse.
Well, that was a double reverse. It took... There were Illinois players that were so fooled that when the double reverse came back, they were standing there waiting for it.
Let's follow Bellamy on the play.
Now the play starts off this way, then goes the other way, and then comes back towards him.
Legal block in the back by the offense.
The block is going to be
10-yard penalty in the spot of the foul.
Right, it happened right there. It was just a flash you saw, and that's a spot foul, so they'll bring it back from that point.
Swanee always hanging around.
It's always, yeah, it's always Miss America or somebody like that.
With the Miss Americas and the
Well, at least Miss Illinois is still Miss America. Miss Russia is no longer Miss Universe.
That's true.
She couldn't handle her duties, I guess.
Tough duties, too.
It is. It is. You got to go around and look great all the time.
Yeah.
That crown can get heavy. 2nd down and 4. Askew up the middle. He's close to the 30-yard line. Schafering and Sinclair in on the tackle. It's going to be about a yard short, I think, as they unpile everybody. And it'll bring up another 3rd down situation for Michigan.
We got about a little less than 2 minutes to play. Michigan has 2 timeouts remaining, so there's no rush.
And now Illinois trying to change up some of their personnel in a hurry. Winston Taylor comes in there over the linebacker spots. Here's the 3rd down. 3rd and 1. There's Sanderson leading the way. Askew's got the 1st down out of the 27-yard line. You get that Sanderson in that H-back type situation. You have the big club on his hand there with a broken bone. Look at the size of this kid. This is a 290-pound fullback.
Now he should have 66 on that.
I was going to say he's a lineman wearing 44.
Exactly. He's a redshirt freshman fullback that really clears him out. He clears him out like a guard would.
Out of Knoxville, Tennessee. 1st down, Michigan. 3 wideouts now for Navarre. As he drops to throw. Deep down the middle. Joffrey got it.
Great
Touchdown.
catch.
What a catch by Benny Joffrey. That was beautiful.
Outstanding.
Career-long catch for the captain out of Wayzata, Minnesota. And boy, he hung with it. And Navarre's got 3 touchdown passes in this 1st half.
He's a slot inside receiver straight up the field.
Caught it twice.
Great catch. Good throw. Great catch.
That's why Mike Cassidy said 83 worries me, their tight end. Right down the seam, 27 yards for the touchdown. And Nienberg in for the point after. And he got it. So they stretch their lead. With 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining, it's now Michigan 28, Illinois 13.
Try talking to your dad during football.
Would it kill you?
Catches by a tight end, Bob, don't come much better than this one.
No, they don't. You're on this side, his hash mark. The wide side of the field is here. Here's the free safety. Now what you're going to do is try and hit your tight end straight up the hash, up the numbers there. He's going to drop back. He's got 2 wide receivers to the left. Now look at Navarre. He's looking over there initially. Look at him going over that way. He's got his tight end wide open down the slot. This is well designed and well executed. Throws it right over the linebacker. That's good stuff.
Another old Michigan tight end and former teammate of yours in the pros, Jim Mandich, would like that one, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, Mad Dog, yeah.
There's
a few balls to him.
Yes, you did. Out of the end zone this time.
Ball goes out of the end zone. It'll bring it out to the 20.
Timeout with 1:12 remaining 1st half.
Suzuki, proud.
A minute 12 remaining here at the University of Illinois in Champaign, and their team down 28-13 will take the field at the 20-yard line. Future brings them up with a 4 wide out offense. And they'll go with a draw play. And it opens up for 9 or 10 yards for Kerry Davis, who's back in there after hurting his knee a little bit, or his lower leg. Coming up Monday night, remember when they were teammates, Ray Lewis and Shannon Sharp, now they're on opposite sides. The Broncos and the Ravens, Monday Night Football. Al Michaels and John Madden will have it all for you, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, right here on ABC. And Brian Greasy, I guess, is going to start a quarterback for the Broncos.
What do you mean, Klutz? Old Klutz?
Yeah, you know, if I was him, I'd just leash Bella to the living room couch or something and keep the dog out of the way on the steps.
He's a Labrador Retriever, just a baby. She's just a baby.
She doesn't know any better.
She doesn't know any better. He was going down the stairs, and she ran after him and clipped him from behind.
He said clipping. He said clipping was the call, but anyway.
I like the headline. It said, Greasy dogged, clipped by dog.
That's right. Oh, boy. Talking about quarterbacks, our comparison today, John Navarre, 3 touchdown passes and 175 yards. And Butcher's been good except those 2 interceptions. Those are the ones that are killing you.
The interceptions will kill you. Illinois has had 3 turnovers, a fumble in addition to the other thing is Illinois has had the toughest field position. They've had 8 possessions, 5 of which have started from their 20-yard line.
Yep.
Michigan has had a few turnovers that got 2 of their possessions started on Illinois' 15 and the other one on the 24-yard line. They scored touchdowns on both.
You saw Navarre over there trying to cool off under the towel and the cool zone fan on a day when he has been red hot in the first half. There's the starting field position Bob was talking about.
That is huge.
And here comes Davis. Spins his way out to the 40. Another first down. So Carey doing some good running here in the late stages of the quarter. And move the sticks, and the clock will start again at about 44 seconds here from the 40. Butcher looking to throw it out to try to get it out of bounds, and now adjusts and is hit as he throws, and that's an incomplete pass. Elaine Kashama, who's seen a lot of duty today with Shante Orr out with an injury, came from behind and wrapped him up as he tried to throw that thing. And we're down to 35 seconds.
There's Jim Herman. He was prepared early in the ball game. Illinois had a no huddle. They changed some personnel, and they practice this all the time. Michigan knew exactly what to do. They got confused one time with who was out there.
And now a legal substitution by Illinois. Antonio Harris tried to run out onto the field, and Brad Haywood tried to run off.
Back up. Substitution on the offense. They broke the huddle with 12 men.
Yeah, you can't
5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You know, a few years ago, everybody used to have 13, 14 guys in the huddle, and you wouldn't know what personnel was in there. They got to be a little silly, so the coaches got together and said, hey, let's cut this out. The offense can only have 11. The defense can only have 11.
That one wasn't trying to be by deception, I don't think. It was the fact that Davis is still limping noticeably, and they were trying to get a back in there, and one in and one out, and that's what happened. So the penalty backs them up. And now they come the other way, and it's Antonio Harris. And Harris still on his feet inside the 45. And now Illinois with another first down is going to have a crack at trying to get points here.
Well, they got 2 timeouts left. In college, when you make a first down, the clock stops until the chains are moved, and then the official marks the ball ready for play, then the clock starts again.
From the 44, Butcher still looking for an out over here and throws this one out of bounds to stop the clock. Walter Young was the intended receiver, way over his head. 18 seconds remaining.
I love this. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Oh boy, I could watch those guys. Like they got some pepper or something.
Yeah, they got some moves.
They got some spots.
Second down and 10. Lloyd will go out to the left side.
The best part about all that is one guy is real and the other guys are just making it up.
That's right. That's where I said earlier 2 of them are dummies, and I didn't mean that they were dummies. Here's Butcher down the middle, and that's finally Greg Lewis. He's tried to hit him a couple of times and overthrown him. That one's right on the money. Pick up a 17. They want a timeout whether the chains are getting moved or not, because they have only 2 plays left to work with.
May as well use them.
Yep. Well, we've got a timeout here with 12 seconds remaining in the first half.
You know, I don't know what my mother calls me more often, Jimmy or... You must be hungry. At her table, there's always a helping of whatever you want as much as you want. Just like Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl. Have Alfredo with penne. Or how about bolognese meat sauce with fettuccine? You pick your homemade sauces, you pick your pastas, you get all you want. Plus, unlimited salad and breadsticks for just $7.95. Tonight, I'm having it with my brother. Mom calls him... Did you eat yet? Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
Peter Christophilakis on the sideline has already hit his career long today of 44. That's what it would be right now if they were to snap it and try a field goal, but they're going to try to get touchdown here with 12 seconds left, I'm sure. I don't know how they get Peter's name on the back of that jersey. He's only about 5'8". I mean, that's a mouthful on the back of the jersey.
Just give him a bigger set of shoulder
pads. It's got to be.
Yeah, you don't ever see a shoulder kicker with that big a shoulder pad.
Bob and Brad, he told me before the game he was 5 years old before he could spell his name.
Sure. 4 wideouts for Butcher. And And he drops to throw with 12 seconds left. Down the middle. Dangerous throw. Is it intercepted? They're going to say no. Drake made a diving attempt, trapped it.
Yeah, he had somebody all over him, did Butcher.
And bring out the kicking unit. That was way behind or way in front of whoever he was trying to throw it to.
He was hit just as he was throwing the ball. And they're going to try a field goal.
So Christophilakis, who hit a 44-yarder earlier for his career best, this time going the other way, will try another one. A 44 right before halftime. And that one's blocked. Blocked by Michigan, picked up by Illinois, and time will run out in the half. So no further damage done. Kashama, I think, is the guy that blocked it. And there went a scoring opportunity for Illinois.
Yeah,
so it remains 28-13 at halftime, courtesy of 3 touchdown passes by John Navarre in that first half, and some opportunistic Michigan defense with the interceptions leading to those touchdowns. And they go to the locker room down up 28-13. We go down to Swanee.
Thank you, Brad. Coach Carr, were you surprised, especially since it's a line of defense played so much zone before, they're giving you so much man coverage
We
today?
really weren't surprised, Lynn, because that's the way they played a year ago, and I think they felt that based on what they had done in the last couple of games, they wanted to come out and be aggressive.
Especially what they did on their last drive with the ball, coming back in the second half. How important is it to you to drive the point home to your defense unit, especially? They got to stay aggressive and go after this team.
Well, we told them before the game, you got to play every play. You got to play right to the end in 60 minutes. There's been a lot of strange things happening in Champaign down through the years.
Coach, thank you. Brad?
All right, halftime. Michigan, Lloyd Carr's team in front, 28-13. In front of a sellout crowd, Illinois is going to have a second half comeback. Coming up after this break, John and Terry in the Valvoline halftime show from Times Square Stadium.
Coaches probably didn't like this one. Between Penn State and
I didn't know we could change teams, guys. That's something you get to do, we don't get to do. Here at halftime at Champaign, Illinois, the Marching Illini band under the direction of Tom Kaniva, entertaining a sellout crowd on a sun-drenched day here in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. Halftime, it is Michigan leading Illinois 28-13. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Michigan leading by 15 as we head into the third quarter here at Memorial Stadium. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan back with you. Bob, you know, we talked about it before the game. We knew the ball was going to be in the air. I didn't know if we knew Michigan was going to put it up so much, and Illinois has done a good job except the turnovers.
Exactly, and that's the story of the game for me. 3 turnovers by Illinois, and they've turned those 3 turnovers into 14 points. There's the first one intercepted by Jackson on a little rollout after a blitz. A little short pass to Davis. Hobson knocks it loose.
Curry recovered that one. And then it was Drake with the interception off the tip pass by Curry. Took it 46 yards back, and then that set up a touchdown. That's been the story of the ball game. And as most of the folks back here behind our booth at halftime were talking about that are Illinois fans, they say, you know, we're not doing bad if we could keep the ball and hang on to it. So far, that's been a tough task at times. Illinois will get it to start the second half, though. High, short kick. And got to make a play on it on the bounce. Boris Virgil, and he got racked at the 15-yard line. Let's check in with Swanee.
Well, Brad, head coach Ron Turner was very simple and direct when he talked about what he needed to do for the second half. Offensively, just not turn the ball over. He keeps turning the ball over, giving Michigan opportunities. And the other thing is on the defense. He says we've got to stop the crossing route. Now, I think one of the best ways to stop that crossing route with man coverage is that corner has got to come up and play the man tight. When you play him off, the cornerback gets rubbed off on all the traffic going across the middle.
All right, we'll watch for that as Illinois drops the ball to open up the second half, and now Butcher gets what he can, which is about 4 yards. It'll be second down and 6 as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary in our first half statistically. And there you see both teams putting it up. 175 for Michigan, 198 for Illinois.
Go to the bottom. There's where you got your story of the game: possessions and points off, turnovers and points off of the turnovers. You know, you can be the greatest quarterback in the land. If you turn the ball over, if you throw it up for grabs, you're helping the other team score points. I got 21 for my team, but I got 20 for you.
Those 14 almost what our difference is, a 15-point ball game. Butcher goes out to Lloyd, trying to spin and holding on for dear life and doing a good job of it is Jeremy LeSueur.
Out there on an island by himself, LeSueur. The thing about these Michigan DBs, they can make a tackle when they're out there.
That's the second big stick he's made today. He had a big stick against Davis, the fullback. This time, not such a big hit, but he holds on and rips the shoe off Lloyd and says, "You're not going anywhere." So Lloyd actually comes out momentarily to get that equipment adjusted, and it's still a three-wide receiver group with Lewis, Young, and Moorhead. On second down, throw complete. No, incomplete. In and out of the hands of Young. Cato June making the play. That was first down. Beg your pardon, not second. Second down at 10 now. McClellan, the tight end, brings in the play from the bench. Brandon Lloyd back into the lineup. Second and 10 from the 29. There's their big play receiver. But they've held him pretty much in check today. Davis, no gain on the play. Carl Diggs, the linebacker, and Drake from the safety spot make the hit. And it brings up third down and long, and that's not what Illinois wanted to get themselves involved with this early in the third quarter.
Well, Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator, tells us these defensive backs, especially as corners, says they have no fear. He says they are competitive. Marlon Jackson, Curry on the other side, Zia Combs. They have no fear. They get right up in their face, and they want to challenge these guys. And Jackson has already has an interception here today.
Everybody's got somebody to grab now. 4 wideouts on third down and long. Butcher wanted to throw the quick slant, does, and got it. Complete to Lloyd.
That's just good all-around football right there.
Combs with good coverage, but it was perfectly thrown, and Lloyd held on.
He couldn't throw it when he wanted to throw it. He had time to wait. The coverage was there. He jammed him initially. Up the top left of your screen. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. You won't. Fakes, pumps. Now he waits for his receiver. He gets inside. Tackle is made.
4 catches for 52 yards for Brandon Lloyd now. And another Illinois first down at the 44-yard line. Davis hit in the backfield. Broke off that would-be tackle and actually got a yard or two. Hobson had him, and he ripped away from his grasp, picked up positive yardage.
It's good to see Kerry Davis back in the ball game.
Yeah, he was limping a little bit before heading to the locker room at halftime.
First drive of the second half didn't start off too well, and they didn't field the kickoff cleanly, and that wasn't very nice. And then they dropped the first snap from center, but now they've got something going. It's important that they get down and establish some momentum here and try to get some points on the board, even if it's just 3.
Harris, the tailback, has not carried it much and maybe got a couple of feet on that play. Ishama from his defensive end spot. Cato June over to make the tackle. And it brings up third down and long again. Last time they went to Lloyd on the quick slant. Let's see what they do this time from just inside their own 48-yard line. Young and Lewis to the right of Butcher, and Lloyd is down to the bottom. That's where he's looking, but he's not going to have time. Cato June on a safety blitz just leveled him.
Yeah, he just, you know, Michigan is not going to just sit back and let you come down the field. Here he is on the outside.
Cato June had 2 key sacks in this matchup against Illinois last year, and boy, he just put a hat.
You know, Michigan does so much defensively. They disguise themselves so well.
Menace to punt. Mile high. Nice kick. Way back and taken at the 4 by Curry. Gutsy move inside your own 10, and he goes down at about the 11. I think he thought he was in no man's land there. He felt he had to field that, or they might have had an opportunity to down it. June definitely down Butcher there.
His wife was
John Navarre has been handed some good field position from his defense today. This is not one of those situations. Their worst starting field position at their own 12-yard line. That's where Michigan will work following the punt. And they'll keep it on the ground to Perry. He's swarmed under at the 15-yard line. Carter is the first guy that got there and got help from his friends, including Sinclair. Michigan offensively, this is what I was talking about. Good field position. The fade to Bellamy in the corner with a touchdown. The quick slant in front of Eugene Wilson to Braylon Edwards, and then right down the seam and a great catch by Benny Jopru. Those are the 3 touchdowns today.
I love that one.
That was a pretty one.
Yeah. Jopru caught the final touchdown. Pretty good numbers. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions for Navarre. Good first half.
Remember, we kept saying that the rap on him was not playing well on the road. Today he is. But the Illini defense equal to the task here, and they're going to force a 3rd down and 5 coming up. Derek Strong made the tackle.
In on the tackle, Derek Strong, 98.
And I think what Illinois needs to do is mix it up a little bit. We said last week against San Jose State they played all zone. Now they're playing all man against Michigan, and they're just not even bothering to throw to their backs. They're just throwing to their wide receivers and the Jopru. I think you need to mix some zone in there just to give a little doubt to the quarterback.
There's your single coverage down here again. Wilson on.
Well, here they come.
Navarre quick over the middle to Jopru. And a penalty marker down. Let's see if there was motion. It would be a 1st down.
See, there was no doubt in the quarterback's mind under the center what the coverage was. He says, I've got man coverage. You're going to blitz. I'm going to get back and throw this quickly to my tight end coming across. Makes him doubt in the quarterback's mind.
Offside on a defense.
It's declined.
Penalty will be declined. Result of play. 1st down.
So Jopru's catch will hold. And on 3rd down and 6, he got 10 yards. Jopru in the Notre Dame game had his best game ever. 7 catches for 80 yards. Today he's got 5 for 56 and a touchdown for big number 83. 1st down at the 26-yard line. As the shadows start to engulf the field here, the quick toss out to the 35, pitch and catch again. Ronald Bellamy. Bellamy a much bigger part of the Michigan offense today.
Well, all the receivers are because there's no question who we're going to throw the ball to. We got single coverage. It's pitch and catch. There it is, top of the screen, little slant. Hall gets lets him get inside. When you're that close to the sideline, there's no way you should let the guy get inside. Take a hard inside, jam him, and then shove him out of bounds if he goes to the outside. Don't let him get inside.
There's been a million slants today, that's for sure. That's what Swanee was talking about before, too. Nice play fake by Navarre. Pressure from behind, and down he goes.
Yeah, it's a one-man route, and he was not open. And then John's got to realize, what am I going to do if he is covered? Because I only got one guy out. Right. What am I going to do? I'm going to throw it away immediately. I'm going to throw it short. I'm going to take off running.
Second time Navarre's been sacked today. This one comes from Brian Schafering, the sophomore out of St. Louis, around the backside.
There is nobody out but somebody down our left side. And when he's not open, you got to say, I'm going to throw it out of bounds or I'm going to run. You got to be ready for that. You got to expect that to be the way it is.
Illinois still looking for an interception on this season. 3rd down here. Navarre down the middle. Perfect. Bell with a 1st down. Let's check in with John in New York.
Florida against Kentucky, and the Gators' Rex Grossman is about 500 on touchdown passes to interception ratio, but he goes above it with that. 4 yards to Taylor Jacobs, and the Gators adding to their lead with about 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. They're up 19.
Here it's Michigan up 15.
Wonder how the hefty lefty's doing.
He might have 1 touchdown.
Yeah,
That's
he
all
only
they
got
got.
7 points.
On the ground is Perry. And Perry keeps the legs drive. And inside Illinois territory by an inch or so, it appears. Reminder on Monday Night Football. Janice Sharp, Ray Lewis were one-time teammates on the Super Bowl champion Ravens. Now they square off against each other Monday night as it's the Ravens and the Broncos. The Broncos off to a perfect start.
Off to a good start. If they win too many more, I'm going to start pulling against them.
Oh, come on. Give Brian a break. They're only 3-0.
I know.
You don't have to worry about that undefeated thing yet.
For about 10 more games.
That's right. Here's another quick toss. Edwards, nice sidestep in the open field and off to the races inside the 40. Down the sideline and run out of bounds. Matt Sinclair, the linebacker, got back there and drilled him.
Yeah, that's a long way for a linebacker to go. That's not his territory. But when Edwards catches the football, he reminds me of a running back, an elusive running back.
That move he put on in the middle was nice. Picked up 24 yards. Watch this move right after he catches it.
This is a big game for Edwards. I mean, the growth of Edwards. He's a young receiver going up against a guy who was a preseason All-American pick. And this is the kind of ball game, boys, that he comes away feeling like he's on top. It gives him great confidence.
Yep, and he's over 100, Swanee, with a touchdown.
Averaging 25 yards a carry or a catch.
That's not bad. Back to the ground game. Perry bounces off the left side down to the 22. Schumacher knocked him off his feet, but Michigan's got another good drive going with 6.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. This is exactly what Michigan wanted to do. Get a lead and then mix it up a little bit and then start pounding away with Askew and Perry.
You love a quarterback for Michigan loves this type of game. I mean, you've got great receivers on the outside. You've got a good offensive line, and the defense is playing man coverage everywhere. There's no double coverage. There's no decision where to throw it, and you've got single coverage, and everybody is getting open.
Overloaded to the right side with the extra tight end, and they go straight up the middle, and Perry blasts free, and he's got it first and goal, Michigan. And Perry now starting to drive against that Illini defense that's been out there a long time.
Here it is from the end zone behind the defense. Look at that gap in hole right there.
Wow.
Everybody runs away. They think it's to the outside. Huge blocking up there. Great job by Pearson and Boz and Petrozello.
And now first and goal at the 7. And big Sean Sanderson now is the up man in the eye. And he's on the move, and they normally run behind him. Perry probably should have. He cut back to the middle and maybe got a yard. So it'll be second down and goal. Sanderson helping his man up.
Oh boy, he shouldn't line up next to Perry. You know, that's where the backs line up.
Yeah.
He should get over there with a lineman.
He hasn't missed any buffets, I'll tell you.
What we got him down as 289?
Yeah, he's down to 289.
Yeah.
We have
fullback.
Second and goal.
I tell you what, I'd follow him.
Second and goal at the 6.
If he's on the left side of the formation, it's tilting that way.
So's the field. Here's Edwards in motion, back across the field against Wilson. Play fake.
Wide open.
End zone. Touchdown. Benny Jopru's second of the day.
Wide open.
That's just like plucking apples off a tree there. An easy one for the touchdown.
Yeah, the fake comes this way, and the quarterback's going to roll out, and Jopru is here. He's just going to come across. All the flow goes to our right. That's easy picking there. Good calling, good play calling. Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator, up in the press box.
I don't think Benny's ever had a 2-touchdown day before. He only had 5 career touchdowns, so 2 today for the captain of the offense. And Michigan adds to its lead. It's 35-13. Michigan having fun on the road right now. Navarre's thrown 4 touchdown passes.
I haven't seen him. He was supposed to be here an hour.
Benny Jopru is one of the Michigan captains, and he is a young fella that will readily admit that he probably never met a party he didn't like, and that caused him some off-the-field troubles in the springtime. But he says it was time for me to grow up a little bit and be a leader of this team and not worry about all that stuff. And Lloyd Carr has said he loves him like a son, and he said, I'm glad to see he's come around and become the leader that we expected him to be. And today he's the leader in the end zone, a couple of touchdowns.
He said he was surprised that he was a captain. You know, he's a 5th-year player, and you usually give it to a senior. He said he overcame his problems, and now he's a captain.
From the 3. Little more is Virgil, still on his feet all the way out to the 39. Nice run back. So that'll fire up the Illini when they need it so desperately. A 36-yard return. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new H2 Hummer, like nothing else. Sprint introducing PCS Vision. Clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. Jack Daniel's original hard cola, come as you are. And Pacific Life. Annuities, insurance, and investments rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Strength of the Illinois offense has been their passing game, but a couple of interceptions have killed them today, and now they're set to throw again. Butcher double pump, getting some heat from behind. Does a pretty nice job running when he has to, and he gets out to about the 44-yard line. Victor Hobson made the tackle.
It was a big drive for Michigan offensively. The start of the second half for their offense to move it right down and score. Sets a tone for the second half by Michigan. Says, hey, Illinois, you know, we beat you in the first half, and we're going to beat you in the second half.
And we've beaten you here every year since '83 that they've played here. That's the last time Illinois could win at home. That's the last time they went to a Rose Bowl in '83. Butcher throws, completes. Lewis makes a catch, gets tagged at about the 48-yard line as we go to New York and John Saunders.
Brad, Texas has a pretty good 1-2 punch with Chris Sims throwing the ball and this guy, Cedric Benson, running the ball. Big hole right there, great stiff arm. And then watch the bottom right-hand corner. The big shift to the hips and gets the block in for the touchdown. And Texas leads Tulane 21-0. Brad.
Boy, he is becoming a load. Benson.
Well, you know, they're playing Tulane. Most teams are into conference play. Well, most conference play started. A couple of the conferences haven't.
Here's Virgil, got the corner. Clipped off his pins by Zia Combs, but not before he got another first down. Here's a little guy that played so well against Arkansas State. He's starting to show up here at Memorial Stadium now. Trying to get Illinois back in this game. They were down only 14-13 at one time, but Michigan has scored all the points since then. And with 3:20 left in the third quarter, John Navarre with 4 touchdown passes today, and his defense with a fumble recovery and a couple interceptions has helped set up those scores. And it's Michigan in command, but Illinois trying to put a drive together here. Virgil stays in at the tailback spot from the 34 of Michigan on a first down. He'll get another carry and weaves his way down close to the 30-yard line. Morris Virgil sat out last year as a partial qualifier. And a young fella that bounced around in foster homes through his early childhood around the Chicago area, and finally his dad, now the guy is his dad, Lloyd Winston, came to the game against Arkansas State when he busted out for 131 yards and they were having a party. Afterwards he said, I think I have to stop at the store on the way home. We're going to need more food. My kid just went over 100 yards rushing. The tailgating got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
It was intended for Walter Young. And that pass tipped a little bit en route, so it's going to bring up third down. This is a big third down for Illinois.
Illinois needs 7 points here. They need to get this ball into the end zone, and I think that if they don't make it here on third down, they'll go for it on fourth.
Time is of the essence now, trailing by 22 with 2:41 left in this quarter. Terry Davis back in there, 4 wide out grouping on 3rd and 7 for John Butcher. The quick drop and the slant, Lloyd and out of his hands, incomplete. Nice coverage from behind from Marcus Curry.
Well, they tried the slant 2 plays in a row, and the Michigan defensive backs, their corners, are making the plays. 3 steps. I mean, this is a smart play. It's a good percentage play if you got a receiver that can beat that corner.
Yep. You saw the ball change a little bit there. Somebody got a fingertip on it. Definitely changed the
they're going for it.
Path, and as Bob said, they'll go on 4th down. 3 out of 7 on the year. They have to get to the 24-yard line. Butcher hit as he throws. They won't get anywhere after that hit. And there's Rumashek from behind. And the big guy is going to put Michigan's offense back on the field. Change of possession with 2:34 to go third quarter. Partner, this is where you say, I don't like that.
Here's Romashek, the guy in white, right here. Now, is this a great play or what? Watch the left tackle. Nobody blocks him. Nobody blocks him. He comes free. Now, was that a great play by Romashek, or was that a screw-up by the other two guys?
I'd vote for that.
On 4th down, when you need protection to throw a slant, and they don't come up with it.
Almost lost their quarterback and a tackle all in one play. John Navarre has matched his career high throwing touchdown passes, 4 today. 3rd time in his career he's done that. And he keeps moving up the touchdown list at Michigan as well. As last week he passed Brian Greasy. Today he's jumped over Tom Brady and Todd Collins. Number 4 spot. Yeah, that ain't bad.
For a guy that's gotten criticized, he's probably gotten more criticism than any quarterback. Well, I don't know about that.
They all
Michigan,
get it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, at Michigan, they kind of give him to him. But he's having a great day today.
Yes, he is. He's going to throw it again on 2nd and 7. This one zipped right by Benny Japu's ear hole, and we'll check in and hear something from John Saunders in New York.
Brad, remember Charles Rogers last week against Notre Dame almost won the game, but in the 2nd quarter here, Jeff Smoker goes 21 yards to Rogers. Now 13 consecutive games with a touchdown catch, and that is a new NCAA record, passing amongst the group Randy Moss, a Marshall back in '97. State also gets the win over Northwestern. Brad.
In a good company.
Yeah.
Michigan great on 3rd down today after struggling early in the season in that capacity. Blitz coming on Navarre down the middle, and he's got another 3rd down conversion. It's Bell again. Calvin rings up another 1st down out at the 47-yard line.
Here again, it's just a one-minded. It's a one-minded defense where the linebackers are blitzing, and the receiver's going to come across the field in single coverage. Everybody's blitzing, everybody's running. Look at the. I mean, you got to change your defense up every now and then. You got to put some zones and some different kinds of put some indecision in the quarterback's mind.
Braylon Edwards, the intended receiver that time, and incomplete with 1:24 to go in the 3rd. Tuesday, to raise kids, sometimes you have to be a kid yourself. Jim Belushi's definitely that. He's back in an all-new season of According to Jim. Tuesday at 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. Belushi, a big Bears fan, and probably an Illini fan as well. And both colors work in this stadium this year because the Bears are playing here while Soldier Field is being renovated.
Bears have a game here, not this Monday night, but a week from Monday.
We'll have that for you on ABC. Here's a run by Askew. Jerry Schumacher made the tackle. And we talked to Ron Turner about having the Bears here, and he says for the most part it's been a plus. Having them around, it just kind of makes the kids more fired up because they know they're sharing a locker room with that guy I know gives you nightmares still. It's been a long time. How about is he the most intimidating guy you ever faced?
Every time I see that picture, I think of when I came up as a rookie and got behind my right guard.
Instead of the center.
Instead of the center, I'd line up my right guard and I put my hands under what I thought was my center, and he said, "What you doing, rookie?"
Butkus had a tendency to do that to people.
Oh, yes.
Japru again on a catch, and a beauty again down to the 35. Japru turning into a big-time player here in the Michigan offense.
Well, this is like a passing drill on Wednesday or Thursday. Your offensive line is picking everybody up, and your receivers are getting open. You got a lot of crossing routes. So your crossing routes are easy. They're coming right over the center of the formation, and it's not a long throw for John Navarre, and he's got great numbers.
And Benny, with that catch I mentioned earlier, his career best prior to this game was Notre Dame, 7 catches for 80 yards. He's got 7 catches today. 2 of them are touchdowns. On a counter, Perry, he's met in the hole. Schumacher is the guy that let him have it, number 42, who idolizes Dick Butkus, as many middle linebackers in college and pros have done over the years. And the 3rd quarter comes to a close. The Illini still trailing. 35-13, Michigan leads. An ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Starting the fourth quarter, 35-13 Michigan. And they're driving with a second down and 11 in Illinois territory, just inside the Illini 36-yard line. Navarre play action, in trouble, and skips it off somebody's fingertips, and Wilson almost got it. Mike Maloney, I think the defensive lineman, got a hand on it. And Wilson made a diving attempt to try and intercept it.
Now, there's a tip ball that was in the air for quite a while. And Illinois still does not have an interception this year. And this is their 5th game. In fact, they've given the ball up 3 times. Look at that. Look at that.
7 straight.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that is.
I tell you, when you convert third downs into first downs, you're going to score some points.
Let's see if they've got a 3rd and 11 in the playbook. Navarre steps up in the pocket, goes to his safety, and there goes the 7th straight.
That was a good, mentally, that was great by John Navarre. Physically, it was very poor because he looked downfield, and he says, all right, they're covered, I'll go to my outlet. And then instead of getting your feet and your shoulders ready to throw the football, he just throws it before he moves his body.
And Askew would have had a first down and a bunch more, I think.
All right, now he's going to say, I'm going to get over there. No, move your feet and body. You got time to do that.
He knows it right there.
Yeah.
Yep. So the string of 7 straight goes by the boards. And the field goal unit comes on. Philip Brabs, who we saw win the Washington game, is going to try one from 53 yards out. No, it's going to pooch kick it instead. And a nice one it is. Oh, boy. Down inside the 5. You can't do it any better.
Oh, is that any better? Any good?
Oh, boy. Down at the 1-yard line.
And the holder got down there to get it, didn't he?
That's great. Perfectly executed pooch. Quick kick, if you will, out of a field goal formation. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. Valvoline's Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. The Hartford, always thinking ahead. And Old Navy Painter's Pants, the handyman's classic. Well, it's a classic day to open up the Big Ten season. Iowa, a winner in overtime over Penn State. Michigan State, a winner today, and now it appears Michigan is going to join them on that win list. Wisconsin was idle today. They're 5-0, and they're waiting for Penn State to come into Madison next week, and we'll be there to bring you that one from what should be a madhouse in Madtown. And Purdue and Minnesota, they're going to kick off in about 45 minutes, I think, or maybe they just did. I'm not sure if that was a 6 o'clock Eastern or a 6 o'clock Central time. 2nd down and 7. Illinois buried deep in their own territory. And out to maybe the 8-yard line as we go out to New York and John Saunders.
Brad, we talked about Florida. Which team was it? Well, they're turning the ball over today. Jared Lorenzen makes them pay. Perfect pass to Aaron Boone, 39 yards. That's after a couple of turnovers by Florida allowed Kentucky to come back. And right now they lead it 28-25. Brad.
Oh.
There's your answer, Grease, to the hefty lefty.
The hefty lefty is bringing them back.
Oh, boy. Some crazy things happening on this last September Saturday in college football. Future down the middle, up in the air. It's intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Jackson. That's his 2nd of the day. This one off a tip pass.
You know, I'm sure Ron Turner on the sideline says every tip ball that we have, somebody catches. But on the other side, we can't get a tip ball for a deflection and an interception.
That one went off Lewis, and Jackson just camped under it like a rebounder.
Marlon Jackson always in the right place at the right time. That's his 3rd interception of the year.
2nd today.
And 2nd today. He's returned one of them for a touchdown against Notre Dame.
4th award candidate. And they liken him to Charles Woodson in both physical ability and his attitude toward the game.
Yeah, just a sophomore.
Big run up the middle. Perry almost scored on that one. Mark Jackson saved a touchdown, but it's down to the 2-yard line.
Making the tackle, Mark Jackson, number 1.
2nd down and goal there.
Well, this will be the 4th straight game, the 5th straight game that Illinois has lost the turnover battle.
Yep.
They have not had more takeaways than giveaways in any of their games this year.
And until they get that figured out, it's going to be a long season for the defending Big Ten champs, I'm afraid. Here's a toss to Perry. Perry tucks it away, and Schumacher brought him down. Nice tackle. And he's no give up in that middle linebacker. Called his number a lot today.
You know, the story for Illinois is, I mean, they came out of nowhere. They were a big surprise last year, won the Big Ten championship. They had 14 starters on offense and defense back, 7 on offense and 7 on defense. But they lost some key guys.
Chemistry's missing and
the
leadership
and the chemistry. The quarterback Kittner, Luke Butkus, the offensive center, a couple defensive linemen that really held that unit together.
Perry just about walked in there for the touchdown from 2 yards out. Tony Pate, his big tackle, number 77, an Illinois native, sort of led the way, and Chris Perry bounces in from the 2.
Well, there's no surprises for Michigan. They're right where they are every year, and that is contending. They'll be a contender for the Big Ten crown along with Ohio State, and well, we thought Penn State might, but it looks like Iowa may be in there now. Wisconsin, certainly you got to throw them in.
Extra point is good by Nienberg. So Michigan again turns an interception into a touchdown, the 3rd time they've done it today. Chris Perry does the honors from 2 yards out. It's the Wolverines 42, the Illini 13. Now it's becoming a long day for the Illini faithful at home now. 12 minutes remaining, and they're down 42-13. Grabs to kick. This one, Morris Virgil can draw a beat on it from the goal line. And he lost the ball. Fumble picked up by Michigan, going the other way. Down the sideline. Not quite. Brabs picked it up and almost scored. Got to the 1. Philip Brabs, who kicked off, almost scored a touchdown.
Brabs was the guy. Well, let's take a look at the fumble first. Virgil's going to hit it right up inside. That's Woods, 99, that gets his arm in there, knocks it out. Brabs was the punter the last time they had the ball that got him down to the 1 yard line.
He's down to the 1 again.
Wow.
And Bob, he got down there, and for a split second, I'm standing right next to him. It looks like he's going to take that ball and stretch it out over the end zone like a running back. Then he saw that big guy coming over and says, well, I better pull this one back.
Underwood in at tailback now, 1st and goal, Michigan. He gets the carry, doesn't get the end zone though. Ryan Shavering made the tackle. So Michigan, it appears, is going to score as many points on Illinois this year as they did last season when they won 45-20.
It's been a tough year for Brabs. Had that game-winning field goal against Washington. Now he's been 3 of 11 for the season on the field goal, so he's lost the job.
Here's Bracken on a toss sweep. Nice open field tackle. Eugene Wilson, the cornerback. And it's 3rd and goal, and Michigan's backing up. So the Illini defense much maligned, and they will be further, I'm sure, after allowing this many points. But remember, 3 interceptions gave Michigan great field position from which to get those touchdowns. So you can't completely blame the defense.
Yeah, you're right, but the defense, the defense has had 3 takeaways in 5 games now, and the offense has given it away 13 times.
You can't be minus 10.
You know, you can't do that. You just can't do that.
3 receivers now for Navarre. Let's see if he throws a 5th touchdown pass. He'll try for it. Down the middle. Jopru right through his hands. That one had some steam on it, and Benny couldn't hold it.
Well, he wasn't the primary target, but he looked a couple other places, and he came back to Benny and says, hey, you're either going to catch this on your fingertips or it's going in the second deck.
That's right.
Second row of the bleachers.
So now Nienberg comes in to try the field goal of 21 yards to make it that exact same 45 points of a year ago. And then should Illinois come down and score a touchdown, we'd have the same score we had last year. Nienberg from one of the right hash marks. There's so many hash marks out here because of the Bears and the college team being here. I can't tell which is which. But at any rate, he knew what he was doing. He knocked it through. 10 minutes, 27 seconds remaining in the ball game. And all Michigan right now, 45-13. Wasn't Taylor the guy that had the big Orange Bowl we did last year? He kind of had a breakout game there.
Yes. I decided to stay in school. I'll tell you what, if you got a team that can throw, and got a quarterback and some receivers and offensive line like Kentucky does, you're never out of the ball game.
That's right. Right now, Illinois, even though they've got a pretty good passing game, probably too far out of this ball game. 10-27, all that's left. And Michigan has all the turnovers and have had the things going their way today. And this will get them out of their doldrums after a loss to Notre Dame and then a close scare against Utah to go on the road and open the Big Ten season in this kind of fashion.
Fielding the ball, number 20, Morris Bertram. Bring it out to the 20, first and 10.
Brabs down there on the kickoff as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. We don't often get to have Pacific Life game summary be our kicker. Look at Brabs. They look like they're going to attempt a field goal. He pooch punts. This thing goes down to the 1 yard line. He says, you know what? I kind of like that 1 yard line. So Virgil fumbles and Brabs says, here we go. And Swanee said, I'm going to stretch it out now. I'm going to get to the 1 yard line.
So he gave his offense the ball on the 1 yard line and they scored, and they scored on the other one.
That's right. That's right. He's becoming a huge offensive weapon here for Michigan. Nissan drive summary, second half possessions. A punt, losing the ball on downs, and the big hit by Rumashek trying a fourth down pass, and then the interception. And that's not good. Second down and a long 9 coming up for Illinois. 9:50 remaining in the ball game. Butcher, man open over the middle. Umpire trying to get out of the way there, and Greg Lewis makes the catch. Got about 5 out to the 27 yard line. Third down and 4 coming up. Illinois trying to fight their way down the field. They have not scored since it was 14-13. We had 3 lead changes at that point, and all Michigan ever since. Brandon Lloyd makes the catch. I think he got the first down. Right in front of LeSueur, who's had a good game from the secondary for Michigan, and their remaining schedule.
Well, the thing I look at is where they have to go, and they have to go at Purdue and at Minnesota, and they get Penn State at home, they get Iowa at home, Michigan State they get at home this year.
Wisconsin.
And Wisconsin.
Yep.
They don't play Indiana and Northwestern, so probably 2 of the weaker teams in the conference they don't even play.
Butcher, plenty of time, and now he has to take off. Good coverage in the secondary by Michigan. Butcher, whoa, there's a nice block. Got his quarterback a first down. It was Greg Lewis coming back from his wide receiver post, and he put a licking on somebody out there. Nice block.
So we'll be in Wisconsin next week. We'll get to see the Badgers. Terry Alvarez, you know, they're 5-0.
Talked to Barry this week, and he said the off week couldn't have come at a better time to get his guys rested. He gave them a couple of days off. Said, get out of the weight room, get out of my office, get out of everything. Go do something else. Go to school or go golf or something.
A little banged up. And that's always good. Not only physically to get away from football, but mentally to get away from it.
Butcher down the middle. Complete again to Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd down to about the 49 yard line. Well, Wisconsin, while they waited for Lee Evans, their injured All-American wide receiver, to come back from a knee injury. Some of the young receivers have gotten better. They've got Smith now behind Anthony Davis, who's become a pretty dependable backup running back and a threat in his own right. So their offense got a little bit better with some key guys out, and so we'll see how they do against the Nittany Lions. We're going to be stinging from that overtime loss today.
Their non-conference schedule is not the toughest.
Nope.
But
Barry says 5-0 is 5-0.
That's right. You still have to play them, but still in all, it's not like playing Washington and Notre Dame and some of the other schools. But he did play a couple of tough schools in there, and he's got through it, without a loss.
Wisconsin, the winningest program of the 90s as far as going to Rose Bowls.
Look at this, what the Big Ten has done in the last 8 or 9, 10 years. Look at, what is it, 9 of 11 schools, 8 of 11 different schools have gone to the Rose Bowl in the last 11 years.
Those were co-championships where you saw the parentheses, but the team in the bowl letters the one that went to the Rose Bowl. Here's Butcher throwing deep. Scott Lloyd wide open. Got him. Touchdown, Illinois. Ernest Shazer got lost back there or something, and Brandon Lloyd. It's a 46-yard touchdown.
This is why you never give up. You just keep playing. Good catch.
And we are 1 point away from the exact same score we had a year ago, but I think Illinois is going to go for 2 here, it appears. 45-20 was the final in this one last year. It's 45-19 with a 2-point attempt upcoming. Butcher trying to loft it to the back of the end zone, and he got it to Walter Young, the big 6'5" receiver, for the 2-point conversion. Brandon Lloyd, 46-yard touchdown catch. The 2-pointer's good. It's 45-22. 45-21, I beg your pardon. Michigan expecting the onside kick with a good hands team up there. They've got 8 guys within 15 yards of the ball. Now they spread it out a little bit. Gackman to kick off or to squib one. He's going to go ahead and kick deep. And over everybody's head, Chris Perry watches it sail out of the back of the end zone. So it'll be Michigan from its own 20-yard line. Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. John and Terry bring you up to date on Iowa State, Nebraska. Show you the overtime thriller from Happy Valley. Florida and Kentucky still going on in a tight game in the SEC. All that and more on the Thrifty post-game report, time permitting. Spencer Britton is the new quarterback coming in. John Navarre's day is done, and it was one of his best ever, as Navarre had 4 touchdown passes and was just within 1 completion of his biggest career day yardage wise. And now Michigan with the ground game, but just trying to ice this thing away. Tim Bracken tackled by Travis Williams. There's John Navarre. So John can say, you know what, quit saying I can't play on the road.
Good day by John Navarre. Brought him in and won the first game out of the chute for the Big Ten title. Talked about it in the opening, and Michigan's out of the box. They're on the road. You got to win on the road in the Big Ten, and they did.
Here's Bracken again. Tim Bracken weaving his way for a first down out across the 35-yard line.
It's a good opportunity for Carr to give Spencer Britton an opportunity to get in play in case something would happen to Navarre. He needs to let him go ahead and throw the football around a little bit, get some reads in there. Let him play.
Out to the 37-yard line. Checks the wristband.
Had to look on the second page.
I thought he was turning
He's
something
going
there.
Way back in the playbook for this one.
Going into chapter 4.
I've never seen that where the wristband actually opens up.
Yeah, he's got a convertible there.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Swanee.
Now, Bob and Brad, at the end of the end zone here, they've got these shots of Hallis and Butkus, guys who were at Illinois and then went on to play for the Chicago Bears, Grange and Caroline. Do you guys know who Caroline is?
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, there are a whole bunch of people who didn't know who he was. J.C. Caroline, who was an All-American here in 1953, retired from the Bears in '65. When he played, first pass that Johnny Unitas ever threw in the ball game, he picked it off, ran for a touchdown, broke all of Red Grange's records, and when Leroy Neiman began to paint, this was one of his early subjects.
That's right. That's right. One of the first paintings. J.C. Carolina came out of Columbia, South Carolina. At that point, coming up to play at Michigan. And as Swanee said, broke Red Grange's single-season rushing marks. Went on to be an All-Pro several years with the Chicago Bears. So The loyalty, the excellence, the pride, and the tradition, and it's quite a setting when you look at some of those guys that are up on that board down there by the end zone scoreboard.
Bears will be here this year, and I guess for a couple of the preseason games next year.
That's if everything goes as planned at Soldier Field. Britton getting some pressure, throws it in and out of the hands of Calvin Bell on a crossing pattern. And it's 4th down. So for the first time in a long time, Finley's got to come out to punt. He was a busy punter early in this game. And then Michigan got its offense rolling. He hasn't had to take the field for a while. Eugene Wilson back as a punt returner. Finley, nice kick. Both punters have done a nice job today. Wilson from the 13. And Wilson swarmed under at the 15. Nice coverage. Shazer got down there to make the tackle. A lot of things going on in sports. Leon Hart, a Heisman Trophy winner in '49 from Notre Dame. Helped win 3 national titles. Passed away this week. He was 73. And he played on 3 NFL championship teams in 8 years with the Lions in the 50s. The last lineman to win the Heisman Trophy, and a great guy and a great player, and obviously a big loss to football. And Swanee's teammate Mike Webster also passed away this week. And you add that to Johnny Unitas a couple of weeks ago. You know, we lost too many good guys lately, haven't we?
Yeah, we sure have.
And
go ahead.
Condolences go out to Webby and his family. Obviously, Swanee was there along with all his teammates from 4 Super Bowls. And Swanee, I know it was a touching ceremony the other day.
Played against Webby when he was at Pittsburgh, and then played with him in a lot of the Pro Bowl games, and he was my center. And you know, you just have an affection and a remembrance of anybody that you line up and put your hands under their butt. You know, the bigger,
there's something about
the
that,
bigger
right?
their butt, the more confidence you have. You know, Webby was a good guy.
And Bradshaw said as much about Mike Webster during his funeral service, and talked about the great player that Mike Webster was. He and I were drafted to the Steelers in 1974, and we're roommates for about a year. I know that everyone in Pittsburgh will miss Mike Webster because he was one of the cornerstone players of so many successful years, but he was just a great human being.
Swanee, was it true that he actually called some of the short yardage and goal line plays?
Oh, absolutely. And Bradshaw at the service got up there and says, you know, I'm going to have to admit it, that when he called the plays, I listened and I repeated the number.
Yeah.
But you know that, Bob. There are just some players, regardless of whether they're in the huddle or on the sideline, that you know you can trust their judgment under any circumstance.
You know, we had Larry Little and Jim Langer and some of the who made the Hall of Fame, and I wouldn't ask him for a play, but I would ask him. I wouldn't have him call the play, but I would say, you know, you got anything? Can you run something?
But that's the difference, Bob. You would ask him. They would just tell Bradshaw.
Oh.
Yeah.
Here comes a punt. Minnis wobbly kick this time. Fair catch taken by Marcus Curry. And Michigan's got it back with 5 minutes left in the ball game and a commanding 45-21 lead. There's a happy youngster, even though her team is on the short end. 45-21 with 5:01 remaining in the ball game. Having fun on a Saturday in Champaign, Illinois.
You work so hard all week, and you know there's so very few times when you have a blowout that you can really enjoy the sideline and let some of these other guys, let your backups get in and play a little bit.
Right, like Brinton and like Underwood right here.
They work just as hard as you do during the week.
And Underwood drags the pile with him. Winston Taylor in on the stop. So Michigan, look at that taste out of their mouth. They've been getting hammered by all the media around that part of the state with the talk shows and all of that, Notre Dame lost, and then a 10-7 game against Utah, and everybody's saying what's going wrong, and now all of a sudden it's 45-21.
Well, Michigan, you know, they come and they go. I mean, they ran into a tough game at home against Utah. This would do a lot for their confidence offensively, and especially for John Navarre going on the road. He'd been hearing all this stuff about 4-4 on the road, 11-1 at home. They're winning a big game in Illinois, first game of the year out of the box. It would give him confidence in the offense.
You know, and Benny Jopru, who I have a feeling is going to be our Chevy player of the game today, heck of a ball game for him, and he's becoming a bigger and bigger part of this offense.
Well, the Michigan have always used their tight ends. He's about the best one they've got this year. In the past, they've always had another guy, too. And I remember when Brian was playing there, they had 2 or 3 guys that they would throw to. They use a lot of 2 tight end offense. Now their strength on offense is their wide receivers, and Japru is right there, as good as any of those tight ends that have gone through that.
Underwood on a cutback run, and he finds open field and gets down near the 15-yard line. Travis Williams had to track him down, but as you said, some of the guys that don't see much work, and Underwood's pretty good looking back out of Madisonville, Texas, 220-pounder, and he rips off a long run. And it's another Michigan first down. Don't forget, next Saturday, we've talked about it, Nittany Lions of Penn State suffering an overtime loss today. They'll be angry about that, and the Wisconsin Badgers had the week off. They're at home at Camp Randall next week. That's where we will be. Our other regional action, you saw the games. Check the games for the game and time in your area. Big college football Saturday again next week. Pick up of about a yard for Underwood. Well, and every week we kind of look at who's hot and who's not from the greasy fire, and let's see what we got here.
Well, Miami and Virginia Tech have got to be the 2 hottest teams right now, but who they've beaten and what they've done. Notre Dame, not only a big surprise, but they're playing good football. Iowa State beating Nebraska today. Air Force is undefeated. Wisconsin at 5-0. Louisville is a hot team after beating Florida State on Thursday night. There's some teams that are undefeated that aren't on there because they haven't played anybody. They haven't played anybody. I mean, and some of them that are on there that barely got on there.
There's a fumble at the end of the play, and see if it was blown dead or not. Underwood coughed it up. I think they're going to bring it. Well, maybe not. Nope, they say Illinois ball.
Well, there's a turnover.
Finally.
Yeah, for Illinois. That's not an interception. It's their 4th fumble recovery of the year.
Kowalik, the linebacker. As you see the hit there, the ball comes out. Maloney, the guy that picked it up. Mike gets his hands on the ball and runs the other way a couple yards.
Yep.
That's the problem. It was 1 turnover, but it's way too late.
And it came, it came within when the ball game was already decided. But that's a start.
So first down, Illinois. Future pumped over the middle and good coverage, so he has to take a whack there as he runs it up. Maybe a gain of 2. So if those guys you were talking about were hot, who's not, Bob Greasy? That's a question.
If Florida State's got to be a team that they barely beat Iowa State, and now they lost a game. So Florida State, Tennessee losing to Florida. Michigan State is still kind of shaky to me. Washington State lost to Ohio State and lost their quarterback. Same thing with Colorado. They lost their quarterback and they lost a couple games. Nebraska losing today.
Those are the knots.
Those are the knots. So hot.
Almost picked off again by Michigan. Just under 2 minutes left in the ball game. Coming up tonight, a couple of the good teams from the SEC West will have at it. Tyler Watts and the Crimson Tide visit Matt Jones in Arkansas. It's the Razorbacks and the Tide on College Football Saturday, presented by the U.S. Postal Service. Tonight at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN.
Look out for the Razorbacks, especially at home.
Yep. They are waiting down there.
Look out for the Razorbacks.
On 3rd and long. Future got an open man, and it's Lloyd. And Lloyd's out across the 35 to the 37. Got about 19 more. Brandon Lloyd, another 100-yard receiving day, including a touchdown here in this quarter. He's got 8 catches for 127 yards. He's going to have his bright moments, and on schedule to graduate in May. We asked him, he does have another year of eligibility should he choose to come back. And he said there was never any doubt that I was coming back this year because I wasn't done with school. But if I do graduate in May, then I got to think about the next level of football, and I'm sure he will. Think about it, that is. There he is again on a quick curl in for 12 more.
The thing about that, Brad, is you want to be sure when you do that, because at this level right now, he is a dominant player and having a great time. If you decide to go to the next level and leave this area and go to the next level, you can't come back.
That's right.
So if you go next level, you better be sure you're going to make it.
There's no turning around.
Yeah.
Out to the 49 with a minute 23 left. Future still slinging it. And with some time, open man. Who else? Guy we just talked about. It's been a Brandon Lloyd drive and series here. And another Illinois first down, pick up a 15 more. So he's way over the 100-yard mark now.
Well, Illinois just needs to the thing that I mean, they were playing well. This was a close game, but the thing that turned the tide in the first half were the turnovers. The tip balls for interceptions and the fumbles. Michigan went down and scored and built up a big lead. Offensively, it's nice to be able to move the ball. Davis had a fumble on a run very similar to this.
Yep.
And Butcher had a couple of interceptions. You just can't turn the ball over.
So their numbers offensively are going to look good again, but then you get down in that column that Bob's talking about with the TOs, and that's the difference by far in the ball game. 525 yards after over 600 last week and still not winning ball games. So that looks good in the back pages of your media guide about 20 years from now, but it's not a win. And Butcher's exactly at 50%, 24 of 48 right now. And now he's 25 of 49, down to the 5-yard line. That's Greg Lewis. He's had a busy day. And first and goal now for Illinois. First and goal at the 5, 4 wideouts. This is where Walter Young comes in handy at 6'5", but they'll keep it on the ground, and Davis not quite. Got down to about the 1-foot line. It'll be back to practice for Illinois now to try to get back in the win column. They'll be 1-4.
But you were doing a promo for the practice.
I was gonna, but that hint just went right over everybody's head except mine and yours. The practice is on Sunday night is what I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
That's one of Grease's favorite shows.
Let me out. Let me out. Get me out of the jail.
10 o'clock, 9 o'clock Central Time. Coming up tomorrow night. Here we go. The practice returns. Powerful season premiere. New stories, new cases, and one brand new lawyer promised to make this season the best of all. It's time to get into the practice of watching the practice. Season premiere tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, 9 Central.
What's her name's been in jail for all summer.
Yeah, I know. That's a long time. She's probably lost weight and everything. You know, isn't eating well.
Did you say a new lawyer?
A new lawyer.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
New face.
Yeah. There's Benny Japaru. He's one of our Chevrolet players of the game. I told you he had a good shot at that. And Brandon Lloyd, a big game receiving, but not enough for Illinois to come out with a victory. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Benny had a career high tying 7 catches, 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Brandon's at 156 on 10 catches right now. So Illinois still trying to tack on one more touchdown here before it's all over. And they've got it at about the 1-foot line. Butcher does it himself. Touchdown, Illini. Yeah, good for them. They worked hard and had some things not go so well for them, but they didn't quit. And they worked it all the way down the field, tacked on one more touchdown.
Well, it's not a win, like you said, but at least, you know, we're going out and we're moving down the field and we're scoring touchdowns. That's all we can do.
Right.
If there's time left on the clock and you put us out on the field, at least, you know, let's just go down and score, even if we don't win the game.
Christophilakis in for the point after. And he's got it. And we're down to 11 seconds. 45-27 makes it look more respectable on the scoreboard. Much of the 69,239 have headed home on this beautiful day in Champaign. 84-yard drive for the Illini for that certainly will, without something strange happening, be our last score of the day. Illinois, we set over 600 yards last week against San Jose State. And Butcher threw 4 touchdown passes for the 2nd week in a row, a couple of 100-yard receivers, but that was a loss. 38-35, and this is going to be much the same, 45-28, with similar numbers offensively. There's the 3 turnovers last week.
That was the good you just saw. This is the bad.
Yeah.
The 3 turnovers with 0 takeaways. 2 roughing the kicker penalties after the defense had stopped San Jose State 3
back-to-back plays.
Oh yes, at the beginning of the game.
Gee. And those will make a head coach start to turn gray a little bit on the side, but
Ron Turner's done a good job.
Yes, he has.
He's been here for 5 or 6 years. Out of nowhere, they won the Big Ten championship last year. Just need to get these takeaways eliminated.
The onside kick is still loose. I think Michigan covered it right about at the 49-yard line. Still a big scramble going on, but it appeared that they had it, but maybe not. Now we don't need this, fellas. There's not much time left in this game.
Well, keep the cameras rolling, and we'll see who's doing the pushing and shoving.
I think Julius Curry's got the ball on the bottom. There he is, 26. So he's intercepted a pass. He tipped another one that got intercepted. He recovered a fumble, and he just, on the good hands team, recovered the onside kick. So it was another good day for Julius Curry, and a penalty marker down with 8 seconds remaining. Michigan only 1 turnover and only 2 penalties today, and that all adds up to what normally would be a season high in scoring, and that is the case as well.
After the play was over, dead ball, personal foul on the kickers, 15-yard penalty.
Did you say 2 penalties?
2 penalties.
1 turnover, 2 penalties.
That's taking care of it pretty good.
That's it. That's taking care of it.
So the personal foul and the walk-off against Illinois. And one would assume that Britain's going to take a knee, and that's going to be it from Champaign. So Michigan off to a good start. 107th Big Ten season, and 3rd straight year they've met Illinois in the Big Ten opener. And they're going to win another one here on the final play of the ball game. Taken inside by Tim Bracken, and that's it. As Lloyd Carr's team goes to 4-1, Illinois drops another one, drops to 1-4. So Michigan heads home with a big victory on the road. And Ron Turner and Lloyd Carr shake hands as the winning coach heads over to Lynn Swan. Swanee.
Well, Brad, I'm with John Navarre. John, playing on the road is always tough, but this had to be one of your best ball games. How'd you stay so relaxed out there?
You know, we had a great week of practice, and I knew, you know, you had confidence with a great week of practice. You can come out and just do what you practiced and do what you can control and run the offense, and that's what worked out today.
Your tight end and Braylon Edwards seemed to come to life in this ball game.
Oh yeah, you know, they're good athletes. They had a rough time covering them. We're going to take advantage of that.
Congratulations, great ball game. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Brad?
John Navarre on the road, 4 touchdown passes. He's done that more than once in his career. Not many Michigan quarterbacks have done that. So the Wolverines, their flag flies high with a 45-28 victory on the road against the Fighting Illini and the defending champions of the Big Ten from Illinois. Illinois has got to go back to the drawing board, and Michigan can go home with a victory. Once again, our final score 45-28. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC Sports. Don't forget, tomorrow it's the U.S. Grand Prix live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 1:30 Eastern Time. Join us for that. And then on Monday, it's the Broncos and the Ravens on ABC's Monday Night Football. 45-28 is the final. For Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our entire ABC crew, Brad Nessler from Champaign, Illinois, where the Wolverines win it 45-28. See you in Madison next week.
All-time record at Beaver Stadium among opponents who played a minimum 5 games. Only Michigan's been better. And Iowa is beating them now